Pressure. Can you give it? Can you take it? Can you feel it? Playoff baseball.
Tonight from Wrigley Field in Chicago, with the best-of-5 series even at a game apiece. It's the Braves and Cubs in Game 3 of the Division Series. For Dusty Baker and the Central Division champion Cubs, postseason hopes rest with their powerful young arms. In Game 1, Kerry Wood shut down Atlanta's powerful sluggers, setting the stage for a critical Game 2 for the Braves. Facing the flamethrower, Carlos Zambrano, the Brave sluggers turned into singles hitters to rally. And that set the stage for an unlikely hero, Mark DeRosa. That one is hit well into left center. But going back, Moises Alou is still going back. He can't get it! 5-3 Atlanta. Now with the series reduced to a best-of-3, the scene shifts to Wrigley Field and a classic pitching matchup. The great veteran, Greg Maddux, a 4-time Cy Young winner, up against the great young star, the Cubs' Mark Prior. Maddux, at age 37, in what could be his final chance with the Braves against the 23-year-old sensation. It's the critical Game 3 from the friendly confines.
Pressure. Can you feel it? Playoff baseball.
The rain has gone away, and right now they are ready. Moments ago, they were virtually at a fever pitch at Wrigley Field as Wayne Messmer sang the national anthem, and that was followed by a very lusty rendition of Let's Go Cubs. They are ready for baseball here at Wrigley Field. The big crowd has been ready for quite a while. We've had a rain delay, but now the field is in as good a shape as it could be. They put that water-absorbent sand-like material around the infield dirt. And Mark Prior has gone back to the bullpen, taking his warm-ups. He warmed up for 10 or 15 minutes before the rains brought the proceedings to a halt. And Greg Maddux is back in the visiting bullpen, getting his warm-ups in once again. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, and here we go. The electricity is pulsing through Wrigley Field. You've got two ball clubs, one the upstart and one the proud Atlanta Braves. I mean, they're always here. This is a little bit of a new thing for these Chicago Cubs and for Mark Prior, and not for Greg Maddux, the veteran master. He's been here so many times before, Joe.
Well, all the talk has been about Mark Prior, but guess what? Greg Maddux can't take second billing to anyone. He's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. He's been here before. Don't take him for granted. This should be a great ball game. The Cubs, like you say, are upstart. The Braves have all been here before, too. This is going to be a great series.
All right, so Prior, who is so sensational down the stretch, almost an automatic win, but he has never faced this scenario before. We'll see Prior moments away from heading to the mound. He'll be up against that great Braves lineup, including Gary Sheffield. Stay tuned.
Program in the first, $4.
Summer wind.
Snacks in the fourth, $25.
From across the sea.
A soda at the end of the seventh, $3.
It lingered there.
Friday night, no TV, DVDs, or video games.
And walk with
Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Devoted fan of Major League Baseball.
One thing that can break up any party? A broken chip. Get Tostitos Gold. The Tostitos that are made extra thick. Perfect for hearty dips. Tastes so good, you never know who'll show up.
So, guy in Robo.
Tostitos Gold. The perfect chip for hearty dips.
Sorry, I was driving too fast.
No, my fault.
You must be gelling.
Like Magellan.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are so soft, they make any shoe feel outrageously comfortable. Are you gelling? Dr. Scholl's.
Dave.
Brian. Are these your consultants?
They're providing an ongoing assessment.
We're on a standardized Dell Linux solution. PowerEdge servers, Intel Xeon processors.
What about assessment? Validation, deployment.
Dell's services are proven and scalable end-to-end. They're customer-centric.
We're more contractually inseparable.
Manage your enterprise for less with the flexibility of Dell products and services. Call or go online today.
I break for yard sales.
I break for animals.
I break for donuts.
Chocolate. My grandkids.
Boys.
I break for little old ladies.
Bingo.
Leprechauns.
UFOs.
I break for free oil changes.
Visit your local Midas mechanic now and get a free oil change with any Midas brake job, including installation of our lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes. That's free oil and filter with any new brakes.
I break for no apparent reason.
LA's best cops, solving its worst cases. The season premiere brings a crime so wicked.
What kind of filthy animal would do this?
Even these cops will lose it.
The most fortunate burned to death.
LA Dragnet premieres Saturday 10/9 Central on ABC. ESPN's presentation of the 2003 MLB Division Series. Brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two. And Washington Mutual Home Loans. We write our own approval rules so you can get into the house without the hassles. An equal housing lender.
The umpires have met at home plate and have been the recipients of the lineup cards from the two teams. Game 3 of the National League Division Series. The Braves and Cubs moments away from getting started. Mark Pryor still taking his warm-ups in the home bullpen along the left field line, and he will, I'm sure, be given as much time as he needs to get ready here. Remember, he warmed up for 10 or 15 minutes before, and then had the whole thing brought to a halt because of the rain. John Miller, Joe Morgan up in the booth, and Gary Miller is also here with us. Let's go to Gary.
John, as you know, it rained here all day and then let up until right before game time. So the field was already soaked. Now it's really kind of a quagmire, although the outfield, Chipper Jones and Gary Sheffield, who were out here before, didn't seem too concerned about it. One thing to watch for is foul balls along the dugout. There are puddles here gathered, even though they've sanded in the infield and on the mound. Here could be a little tricky. And you're not talking about the fleetest of outfielders to begin with, except for Andruw Jones and Lofton. So that could be a major factor. It's going to slow the ball down and slow down outfielders who aren't the greatest defensively to begin with, besides the center fielders.
All right, so, I mean, this is not like all the new ballparks where they have that subterranean water drainage system. I mean, this is Wrigley Field that opened for baseball in 1914. And when it rains, this field will hold some water. Game 1, the Cubs, of course, back of Kerry Wood, won in Atlanta 4-2. Wood was sensational that night. And in Game 2, which we were able to bring you on ESPN on Wednesday night, the Braves were victorious 5-3. Mark DeRosa with a dramatic 2-run double in the last of the 8th. And Mark Pryor now, the 23-year-old, has finished his warm-ups, and he's heading down into the Chicago dugout on the third base side. Damian Miller, who caught that great tandem in Arizona when the Diamondbacks won the World Series a couple of years ago. Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson. And he's going to be handling Mark Pryor tonight here in Chicago. He's also had a lot of success against Greg Maddux. Moises Alou, who's hit well in this series. And Alou and Sosa have been on base all the time, but they've not been getting much production from the guys behind those guys. The bottom of the order has not been giving the Cubs any production at all. And the Cubs have not hit any home runs yet in this series. Kenny Lofton's been on base a lot. 2 hits and 2 walks. He's had a steal. He's had a .400 on base percentage so far.
Well, I think if Kenny Lofton can get on base in this ball game, he can take advantage of Greg Maddux, who does not hold runners well, who allows you to steal bases. And I think Dusty Baker's seen enough of Greg Maddux to know that you can't let him just get comfortable out there on the mound. You have to make things happen. You have to force the action. You got to steal a few bases. You got to hit and run because he's always around the plate. So I think you can do a few things to disrupt Maddux, because once he gets in a groove, you're in trouble.
And Greg Maddux, I mean, what a career it's been. And every year he pitches in big games. I mean, the Braves are always in these games every year.
Well, but the one thing, if you look at his record, is not that good in postseason play. I mean, he has made a lot of starts in postseason play, and his record is 11-13. So, you know, as good as he has been in the regular season, he has not carried over to the postseason.
Sammy Sosa leads the Cubs onto the field, sprinting out to salute the fans in the bleachers. So the Cubs have taken the field, and we're going to take a look now at the Atlanta Braves batting order. Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb, and for Atlanta, Rafael Furcal at shortstop. Marcus Giles back in the lineup at second base. He had to sit out the ball game, although he came in as a pinch hitter, had a huge hit in the Wednesday ball game. Gary Sheffield in right field. Chipper Jones in left hitting cleanup. Javy Lopez the catcher in the fifth spot again, as he was Wednesday. Andruw Jones in center. Robert Fick at first hitting seventh. Vinny Castilla at third base. Greg Maddux the pitcher batting ninth against the 23-year-old sensation. Mark Pryor, not that far removed from college, and already he has emerged as the ace of this Cubs staff, helping propel them into the postseason. Mark Pryor throws a variety of pitches, and he told us about his pitches.
Full-seam fastball, and then my curve, slider, slurve, breaking ball pitch is just on the horseshoe, a little bit over the horseshoe. Just bring it down, and then occasionally I throw my changeup, was just a little bit off the circle change. I just bring it up and just release it out.
Well, his fastball is the one that explodes on the hitter, but he also throws, he calls it a breaking ball because sometimes it's a hard pitch like a slider, other times it's more like a curve ball, a little slower. So that's why he calls it curve, slurve, whatever. And then he has the changeup. So anytime that he can stay around the plate, he doesn't have to throw all strikes, but you do not have enough time to wait and decide whether it's a strike or not. If he stays around the plate, he's going to be very difficult to handle.
So here is Pryor, ready to face Furcal, and Game 3 is about to begin at Wrigley Field. This ballpark did open in 1914, and yet in all those years, there have been only 21 postseason games played at Wrigley Field. The last one was 5 years ago. The Braves were here, and the pitcher for the Braves that night was Greg Maddux, and he beat the Cubs to give the Braves a sweep of that series. And a strike. So Pryor's first pitch, a 94-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside, and we are underway. Furcal, 2 for 8 so far in this series. Inside. A ball and a strike now. Furcal, the igniter for the Braves. It's a real cool night, 54 degrees, but a little bit of a breeze blowing in from left field. And that is a fastball. Strike 2 call.
Well, like the guy that he admires, he's thrown a fastball over the outside corner and now a fastball over the inside corner. So he is not just trying to overpower you by throwing the ball down the middle of the plate.
And the breaking ball is too low. 2-2. Broken bat. And one away. Grudzielanek throwing out Furcal.
Now let's take a look at the defense behind Pryor. Miller has caught some of the hardest throwing pitchers in the game. Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling. Simon's at first base. Grudzielanek, good defensive second baseman. Not a great one, but good. Martinez very steady at shortstop. And Ramirez at third has been the weak link, but he's playing much better now.
And a strike in the inside to Marcus Giles. Giles 2 for 3 in this series. He hit the homer against Kerry Wood that had the Braves leading for a while in that game. And then he got a big pinch hit single to put the Braves ahead in Game 2 on Wednesday. He injured himself, of course, taking a tumble at first base in Game 1. Had a deep bruise on his thigh. But he pronounced himself fit and ready to play for this game tonight. A ball and a strike. And that curve snaps in there. Strike 2 right at the knees.
John, our graphic had Martinez at shortstop, but that's Gonzalez at shortstop.
Alex Gonzalez.
Not Martinez.
Very high with the fastball. Gary Sheffield on deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Giles, who had a sensational season, a breakthrough season for the Braves. And he struck him out. Hard stuff on the outside.
Now that's the pitch that I've seen a lot of in the highlights. That fastball toward the outside corner, and it just explodes past the hitter. It may only be 96 miles an hour, but there's an explosion there. See, that ball just jumps past Giles.
That last one, of course, at full speed. You have to make, as you said, Joe, a quick decision whether you're swinging or not.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't have to throw all strikes, but he has to be around the plate, and they will help him out.
Now Sheffield, power versus power here, and he starts him with the curve, but misses just off the outside. Sheffield has had 1 hit and 8 at-bats, although his manager, Bobby Cox, quick to point out that Sheffield has clobbered 3 balls real hard without getting a hit, and he says he's very satisfied with Sheffield's swing right now. Inside, and it is 2-0. Well, there's certainly no question about Sheffield's ability to catch up to this guy's fastball or anybody's fastball.
Correct. He can handle anyone's fastball.
2-0 and 3-0.
And I think they're aware of that. I mean, you see them trying to stay tight on him with the fastball. They do not want to get it out over the plate where he can extend on it. But he may be swinging 3-0 anyway. We'll see how aggressive Bobby Cox wants to be tonight.
And it's ball 4. So Sheffield gets the 2-out walk, and now Chipper Jones will come up. Also 1 hit, 8 at-bats. Bobby Cox in his 18th season as a big league manager. He hadn't managed that many years for just the Braves, but he's had a great run of success for the Braves. 12 consecutive division championships. So they're a perennial fixture in the postseason. But as John Smoltz was saying the other day, if they lose this series, Smoltz thinks there'll be a lot of changes with the Braves in terms of personnel. And there's ball 1 to Chipper Jones. He's had 1 hit and 8 at-bats in the series. And back to the bag is Sheffield. Sheffield did a lot of running during the season, especially early. He had 18 steals, caught only 4 times, but then he injured his thumb on one of those steals. And Bobby Cox suggested maybe he can cut back on that running game a little bit. And that breaking ball misses. 2-0. And all of a sudden, Pryor has lost the strike zone.
Well, he's lost the strike zone because he's facing Gary Sheffield and Chipper Jones. And you know you have to make quality pitches. You can't just try to get ahead of these guys. You got to try to use the outside corner or go to their weaknesses.
And for the 7th straight pitch, he is out of the strike zone. But I mean, all of the talk about Pryor and how great he's been and how the Cubs have been winning so often when he pitches, and the great stuff that he has versus Maddux. Maddux has been here many times. This is Pryor's first experience on this big stage. Sheffield swinging away on 3-0, but he fouls one. Sheffield. Chipper Jones with Sheffield at first. Chipper Jones swinging away at 3-0 and fouling it off into the crowd.
And I think Bobby Cox wants these guys to be aggressive. I thought he would let Sheffield swing 3-0, but the pitch was up and out of the zone, so he lets Chipper Jones swing 3-0. Remember, this is a small ballpark compared to what the Atlanta Braves play in during the season. Without the wind being dominant here tonight, they're going to be free swinging, trying to hammer him when they get ahead of it.
And it's another walk. And so a very rare scenario for Pryor, walking 2 in a row. Pryor walked 50 during the season in 211 and a third innings. So, I mean, he averaged about 2 walks for every 9 innings pitched. And now he's walked 2 consecutive hitters. So here is Javy Lopez, and he's been getting his hits so far in the postseason. 4 hits, 8 at-bats, although no long balls for Javy. And he hit 43 of them during the season. Sheffield now at second. Chipper Jones now at first. And Pryor trying to find that strike zone again. And he finds it there right at the outside edge of the fastball.
The one thing you've noticed from Pryor, he has not thrown a pitch in the middle of the plate, even to the first 2 hitters who were not, considered real long ball threats, although they do have some power. And with Sheffield and Chipper Jones, he was always trying to hit the edge.
Almost a wild pitch, a great save by Damian Miller on a real sharp breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Miller does a good job. I mean, he's ready for it. He couldn't get out there, but he at least got the glove out there. He couldn't get his entire body over there, but he got the job done.
But right now, Mark Pryor's not quite right. 2 men on, 2 men out. He's walked 2 in a row. Andruw Jones would be next. And he was supposed to go inside with that fastball. That's down the right field line and twisting back and out of play right near the foul pole. There's just a little bit of wind blowing in from left and across toward right.
Well, you can see the flags blowing this way toward right field, toward the right field line.
So now a 1-ball, 2-strike count. And the customers here at Wrigley try to come to the aid of their young right-hander, Mark Pryor. Everybody on their feet. Sheffield at second. Chipper Jones at first, ready to go on anything. 2 down. Struck him out. So Pryor recovers after a momentary lapse. A 23-pitch first inning. Now the Cubs are coming up.
I think when I was younger, I just wanted to come up with a style of my own. The only thing I come with was the leg kick. It becomes a part of you. I live for this.
Watch the Division Series on ESPN. Don't miss it.
Halloween isn't just for kids anymore, and Fantasy Costume has over 1,000 faces you can slip into. Costumes, masks, makeup, accessories, and over 800 wigs in stock. Fantasy Costume has feather boas, gloves, tiaras, hats, and props of all kinds. You'll find Santas, bunnies, vintage and historical costumes, as well as some outrageously funny fantasy and cartoon characters. Fantasy Costume at 314 East Emmett Street in Battle Creek. Stop in and look around, and remember, it's more fun than costume.
I know people who refuse to settle for good enough. I know people who think working hard is the only way to work. I know people who don't believe in the words overnight success. Let me introduce you.
Wrigley Field in Chicago. It's game 3 of the National League Division Series. The Braves and the Cubs. Braves have gone down, stranding 2 runners. Now the Cubs are coming up against Greg Maddux. And here's the Bristol Myers squib. Cubs batting order turned in by manager Dusty Baker. Kenny Lofton in center. Mark Grudzielanek at second. Sammy Sosa in right. He hadn't hit any home runs in history, but he'd been on base a lot. So has Moises Alou, the left fielder. Randall Simon at first base. Aramis Ramirez, third base. Alex Gonzalez back in the game at short. Damian Miller, the catcher, and Mark Pryor, the pitcher, hitting ninth against the 37-year-old master. Greg Maddux, 289 career wins, including 16 this year, marking the 16th consecutive year that he's won 15 or more, which is an all-time big league record. Now that ERA, though, Joe, that's the highest he's ever had since going to Atlanta.
But when you face Greg Maddux, you know he's going to work off of the fastball. His fastball is what he uses to hit the corners. He makes it sink. He makes it cut. That's basically what he does. And then he'll throw a lot of change-ups off the fastball. But everything comes off the fastball. He does have a curveball, but he doesn't throw it a lot.
So here's Lofton. Greg Maddux made his major league debut as a Chicago Cub in 1986. He was only 20 years old at the time. Made his first start in September of that year. And he misses low for a ball.
I think Kenny Lofton is going to be the key for the Cubs tonight. If he can get on base, he can disrupt Maddux a little bit by stealing bases and running.
And that's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Lofton. Lofton 2 hits, 8 at-bats, plus 2 walks in this series. So he's been on base 4 times out of 10. Third baseman Castilla, very shallow. You see him there on the left side. And that runs in a little bit off the plate. 2-1 to Lofton.
Well, that's the cut fastball he'll throw. We saw the sinker on the first pitch.
That is foul right past Gene Kleins, the first base coach, and into the visiting bullpen area.
Well, he showed them all his pitches. That was the changeup. He's thrown the fastball, he's thrown the sinking fastball, the cut fastball, and the changeup.
Two and two to Lofton. And again, a foul ball. Maddux with his 16 wins this year. And he didn't often go real deep into games, but he was very reliable. He always made his starts. He made more starts than any other National League pitcher. And he got that ball up as he took something off that pitch, but got it up, and Lofton hit it foul into the seats off to the left. Just kind of swatted at it.
Well, this is a good at bat for Lofton and for his Cub teammates to get a chance to see what Maddux is doing out there, if they didn't already know.
And another foul ball again. Took a little something off that one, and Lofton hit it foul. Maddux has made 10 appearances in Division Series play, 15 in League Championship Series. That one down the right field line. On the run, Sheffield. It's in there. Base hit. Lofton with a turn at first below hold. As Sheffield has a real strong arm. So Kenny Lofton with quite a battle, and he wins the duel on the 8th pitch. He gets the hit.
Let's take a look at the Braves defense. We saw Sheffield in right field, and he has a very strong arm, and that's why Kenny Lofton respected him on that. Andruw Jones, of course, one of the best outfielders in the game. Chipper Jones in left. And the infield will make some errors, but they can get the job done. They made a great double play on Lofton the other day. So, and Maddux is the best fielding pitcher. He's won like 15 or 16 straight Gold Gloves. So 13 Gold Gloves. This is a very good middle of the lineup defense, but they will make some mistakes, but they have a lot of range.
Hey, I caught you there being precise. I appreciate that. Now Grudzielanek, he pushes the bunt up the first base side. Fick falls down. He can't handle it. Everybody's safe. Remember, we're playing on a wet field tonight. Rain fell right after they were introducing all the players on both clubs, and a pretty heavy rain fell on this field before they got the tarp over the infield.
Well, a lot of people will wonder, why do you bunt in the first inning? Well, you try to get a run for a guy like Pryor who can shut the Braves down. You see right there, Fick slips down and no play. Everybody's safe. But I think it was a smart play by Dusty Baker to try to get the lead right away.
Now, I don't see this guy bunting.
I doubt it.
Although they would be shocked.
One thing else that you also have to be aware of is Kenny Lofton at second base, because Maddux does not check the runner that often at second base. He allows you to run if you want to.
And there's that trademark Maddux fastball that starts off the corner and then hooks back to the plate.
Well, what he wants here is a ground ball, so he's going to try to mix in some sinkers. Unless he gets ahead, then he might go for the strikeout, but he wants a ground ball.
Sammy with 3 hits and 5 at-bats in this series, plus 4 walks, so the Braves have been pitching around him a lot. They've kept him in the ballpark, but he's been getting his hits.
Well, one thing that Sammy Sosa has done the last few years, he's become a much better hitter. He will use the entire ballpark. He hits right center to left center. I mean, he will. You pitch him out there a lot, he will go the other way.
And strike the count to Sosa. 2 men on, nobody out. The Cubs trying to jump ahead here. In the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sosa, 3 homers in 59 lifetime at-bats against Maddux. So these two veterans have been going at it head-to-head for a long time, and Sammy only has a 220 lifetime average against Maddux. And there aren't many hitters who have hit much better than that against Maddux over the years. Sammy Sosa, 40 homers during the season. Lofton at second. Grudzielanek at first. Nobody out. And Maddux bluffs a pick off the second. Nobody was covering.
Yeah, but they are aware of Lofton, and that's important, because if you give any of your concentration to the guy at second base, that means you have less concentration on the hitter. So Lofton's doing his job, making them aware that he's there and that he might steal a base.
That graphic was interesting. Now they're going to actually make a pickoff attempt, and Giles accepting that throw a little bit late. Lofton back in. You saw that graphic. About a third of the runs that Maddux has allowed this year have come in the first inning. So this is the time to get to him. It often has taken him a while to settle in on the mound.
Well, the better pitchers are always that way. If you're going to get them, you have to get them early.
Well, you see Lofton getting his lead at second. Giles is shaded toward the middle, the second baseman.
Well, they're having a lot of problems with the signs, meaning Lopez wants one pitch, Maddux wants another, and we know that over the years he has not caught Greg Maddux very often. I guess it had been 5 years before he started catching him down the stretch this year so that he would be prepared to catch him in the playoffs. They're not used to working together, and they're having a lot of problems. You see Maddux, when he stands there, he shook him off a few times, and when he stands there that long, that disrupts his rhythm. They're going to have to get on the same page or he's going to have problems most of the evening.
Lofton with his lead from second. Giles bluffs in behind him. And Sammy at that high tight fastball, fouling it back into the second deck. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Moises Alou, another powerful hitter, is on deck. The last time prior to in mid-September was in the regular season, 1998. The last time he caught him in the postseason was 7 years ago in the 1996 World Series. 1-2 the count to Sosa. And Sammy strikes out. He chased the high one up out of the strike zone.
Well, Maddux is a very smart pitcher. I mean, he will get you looking down and away, down and in, and then all of a sudden he'll throw the high fastball, especially if he gets ahead of you in the count and has 2 strikes on you. See, this is way up out of the strike zone, and Sammy swings at it.
And he swung at a couple. He fouled off the previous one and missed this one entirely. You think Sammy looked a little over-anxious there?
Well, I mean, Greg Maddux does that to you. He doesn't overpower you. He'll give you a little here, a little there, take a little off, put a little on, and he keeps you off balance. That's what he does best.
Now Moises Alou, still 2 men on, 1 man out. That's Lofton at second. Giles bluffs in behind him, but he was only bluffing. Maddux also bluffed the throw. Lofton went back to the bag. Moises Alou, 3 hits, 8 at bats. Finished the season with an injury to his left thumb that he sustained while trying to make a diving catch in the outfield. But he says it's fine now. Not anything that bothers him at all. That ball is hit well into center field. Not that well. Jones took a quick step back and then just stood and waited for it, and it was a routine play.
Well, another high fastball. And Moises Alou is a good first ball fastball hitter, so he goes after it. Moises Alou, good first ball fastball hitter. Maddux knows that, so he's not going to groove it. Throws it up at the top of the strike zone. It looked a little higher than that to me, but Moises Alou went after it, and he couldn't do much with it.
Alou, who's had 72 lifetime at-bats against Maddux now. 17 hits. He's never hit a home run against him. So 2 men are gone, and here is Randall Simon.
And that's why Greg Maddux is such a good pitcher. Got in trouble the first 2 hitters. He faced the 3 and 4 hitters and got them out.
And that's ball 1 to Simon. Simon hitting in the 5th spot where Ramirez had been hitting. Simon, the lefty, up against Maddux. These are former teammates. Simon came up with the Braves originally. Simon, he's a bad ball hitter, and he will swing at almost anything you throw out there, including this one.
Well, these are registering right at the top of the zone. I think we have to adjust that zone a little bit.
Well, Maddux should throw in a foot higher than that, and I think he'd still swing at it. 1-1 the count. Well, thank you, Randall. I don't know if that was a foot high, but that was way up there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Let's see what K-Zone says.
Well, I guess K-Zone registers that as high.
That was high. So if you're Maddux, you go back up there again?
Well, I think Greg has a game plan. I mean,
1-2 the count. Lofton is running, and the ball gets by Lopez, and Lofton turns third, then slips and falls and has to dive safely back to the bag just ahead of the tag by Castilla. Grudzielanek moved over to second.
Well, we'll have to see how they score that. Lofton, of course, should get a stolen base, but I don't know if Grudzielanek ran after the ball got away. Grudzielanek was going back, so that'll either be a wild pitch or a pass ball that allowed Grudzielanek to go to second base. And there you see Lofton slipping down, and quick reaction by Javy.
So it's a steal for Lofton, his second of the series. And Grudzielanek moves up on the wild pitch. Good heads-up throw there by Javy Lopez, and he almost got Lofton after he fell over. 2-2 to Simon. A base hit can mean a couple of runs. Into right field. Sheffield can't get to it. Base hit. Lofton has scored, and here's Grudzielanek. 2-0 Cubs. Simon gets a big one against his old team.
Chasing pitches out of the zone. This pitch is up and in, and he jams him, but he fights it off well enough to dump it into right field for a base hit. Now watch, you see Javy Lopez set up inside. The pitch is going to be inside. Fights it off, and he gets a base hit.
Now Aramis Ramirez, another former Pirate.
Well, he definitely gets, you see, he gets jammed here, but if you're strong, you can muscle the ball into the outfield, and that's what he does. And you have to give Dusty Baker credit because he flip-flopped Ramirez with Simon, and the reason he did that because he wanted to break up all those right-handers in a row.
So here's Ramirez. You know, actually, Maddux has done pretty well against the Cubs tonight. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates who are beating him. Kenny Lofton, who started the year with the Pirates, led off with a single, eventually stole a bag, and then Randall Simon, acquired more recently from the Pirates, gets the two-out clutch hit. And here's another former Pirate, Ramirez at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Maddux changing speeds on that one a little more softly. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Lofton with the Cubs at 327 really ignited the offense for the top of the order, just as he did with the Giants last year after being acquired in trade. Aramis Ramirez, he had as many RBIs in about 60 games playing third base as all the other Cubs third basemen all year. And then, of course, Randall Simon. Give him a left-handed option for first base. And he fights that curveball off, bouncing it foul. Still 1-2. So Pryor staked to a lead here, Joe. You were talking about it earlier as to why Grudzielanek would be bunting. I mean, now Pryor has that lead.
Yeah, well, you want to try to get ahead. If you have 2 pitchers who you think are going to be on top of their games that particular night, try to give him something to work with.
The wide open right side just past the dive of Giles. Simon stops at second as Sheffield throws in behind him. Ramirez with just a chop on the infield, but the first baseman playing in the bag, that's a wide open right side, and he exploited it.
Well, that's the sinker that Maddux throws, and it's away, and Ramirez does a good job. He just goes the other way, doesn't try to pull it. Giles not able to run it down. It was as you said, it was a big hole on the right side, and Ramirez hit it through the right side.
And the Cubs fans doing the sarcastic tomahawk chop now at Wrigley. Alex Gonzalez into the hole at short. Furcal to Giles covering at second with a force out on Ramirez. 4 base hit, including a bunt, and the Cubs have a 2-0 lead.
In the red zone, the best way to defend against the play is to stop it before it starts. That's why I use new Red Zone deodorant from Old Spice.
Red Zone's new odor defense system helps stop odor before it starts. And the scent lasts longer than the leading brand. Try it. If you don't like it, Old Spice will buy you a stick of something else.
Hey, it's better to be defensive than offensive. New Red Zone deodorant from Old Spice.
So have you tried 10-10-987?
I was thinking about it.
What's to think about? It's 3 cents a minute and
Yes.
39 cents to connect.
But I can't believe it's that cheap, really.
I guarantee it's that cheap. I'm allowed to say that, right? So you make a lot of calls?
I call Spain a lot.
Doesn't matter, it's the same. Anywhere in the country, to Canada, Western Europe, 3 cents a minute.
Really?
3 centavos.
Yeah, but how do I know it's really 3 cents a minute?
You know how you'll know? Try it. It'll come on your regular phone bill, 10-10-987, 1 and then your number. I'm worried about your diet, Matthew. Banana,
This is all I'm eating.
sugar, and strawberry.
He's getting ready. He's pumped. Now you've got to see your Bridgestone retailer during the Bridgestone Nationwide Tire Drive. Buy 4 advanced technology Bridgestone Dueler tires for your SUV or light truck and get a free Casio colored TV. He's ready. Now it's your turn to get moving. The Bridgestone Nationwide Tire Drive ends October 4th. Call 1-877-TIRE-USA today.
Round-the-clock claim service, in case this happens in a car. Geico, a 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Geico Auto Insurance, how may I help you? Hello? Hello?
Need another way to talk to Geico? Check out geico.com. In 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance.
Hello?
Go to the movies for dinner with my baby with the chick. Hey, gonna have some?
The Nintendo GameCube is now $99.99. It just keeps getting better, doesn't it?
Game 3 of the National League Division Series, the Cubs and the Braves. Pivotal game, of course, in a short series. It's now really a best-of-3 series. And the Cubs have jumped ahead against Greg Maddux, 2-0 here at Wrigley. A lot more baseball tomorrow. The division series will continue. 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 Central, 10 Pacific. On ESPN, the Yankees and the Twins. Pivotal game 3. Clemens and Loesch for the Metrodome at the same time. On ESPN 2, the Giants and Marlins. And for the Giants, they must win or they will go home for the winter. Jerome Williams, a rookie, or maybe Jason Schmidt, the veteran for the Giants, against rookie Dontrell Willis. At 4 o'clock on Fox, these Braves against these Cubs right here at Wrigley. Russ Ortiz against Matt Clement. And then 7:30 tomorrow night, Joe and I will be at Fenway Park for the Athletics and the Red Sox. The Red Sox in a must-win game, desperation game. A loss for the Red Sox tomorrow, and they go home for the winner. Here is Andruw Jones hitting 6th in the order. Pops it up foul. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. Matt Clement tomorrow. Clement, who pitched a very strong game for the Cubs last Saturday when they swept that doubleheader from the Pirates and clinched the division title. There's that curve from Pryor outside. 2 balls and a strike. Robert Fick on deck, then Vinny Castilla. Now we also saw the effects of the rains during the first inning here. And the infield was left exposed for a while. Ooh, that fastball just off the outside.
Well, see, that's the pitch that they would swing at if there was 2 strikes. So him falling behind allowed Andruw to be able to lay off that pitch. But with 2 strikes, I guarantee he would have swung at that.
3-1 to the powerful Andruw Jones, and he draws a walk. So Pryor a little bit off, and you don't know if it's the extra adrenaline pitching in a huge game for the first time in his young career, or the cold, the wet, or a combination of all of that.
I actually just think that it's the adrenaline because, John, the Cubs and Pryor and Wood, Clement, they've been pitching playoff type pressure the last 2 weeks of the season. You know, they were close to Houston. They've had to win, so they've been pitching under this type of pressure for the last 3 or 4 starts apiece.
And it's a strike on the outside to Fick.
So I don't think it's the pressure. I think maybe he's wanting to throw a little bit too hard, rushing a little bit.
And he's facing Robert Fick here, who really wants a base hit. He succumbed to the wet grass. Now this one could be a double play. Grudzielanek the second one, Gonzalez to first. Double play. And these are not the best of times for Fick. He's having a hard time defensively and is now 0 for 7 at the plate.
Well, a good job by Grudzielanek and Gonzalez to make this double play because it wasn't a routine double play. The ball wasn't hit that hard And they had to turn it quickly at second base. Pryor gets the ground ball. Watch how quickly, right there, quick turn by Gonzalez, and they get Fick at first base.
2 down, nobody on. Vinny Castilla. Fastball. Wow. When's the last time you saw Vinny take a first pitch fastball?
Well, that was over the outside part of the plate. I mean, if you're Vinny, you walk up there, you want your fastball to be middle in, and that was right on the outside corner.
0-1. Back out there again.
See, that's the pitch that Andruw Jones laid off of because he was ahead in the count. But you do not lay off of it if you're behind in the count.
Well, Pryor walked the first batter, but then got the double play. Now he's starting to look like Pryor again. 0-2. And a pop foul back into the upper deck.
Well, that's the first ball he's gotten into the middle of the plate. And he was 0-2. It was right in the middle. Now watch, we've seen the other two right on the outside. Watch where this pitch is. Right in the middle of the plate.
And Vinny doesn't miss those too often. Back to the breaking ball in the dirt now. A ball and 2 strikes to Vinny Castilla. 2 down, nobody on. The Cubs lead 2-0.
That's what having a great fastball will do. It allow you to make mistakes sometimes and not get hurt.
Well, just before the All-Star break, Pryor had a collision with Marcus Giles of the Braves running the bases. Put him out for almost a month. Back to the curve again. But when he came back, he was better than ever. He won 10 of his last 11 decisions. And, I mean, the Cubs needed every one of them, or they wouldn't be here right now. And we asked Dusty Baker about that, if there was something that he did better. And Dusty thought, well, the time off gave his arm a chance to rest a little bit. He thinks that gave him that much more strength for the stretch run.
And he also said that his control was a little better when he came back after the rest.
Here's the play we're talking about. That's Pryor, the base runner.
And you can see him grab his shoulder once he hits the ground right there. He comes down on his shoulder, and he grabs it. And Giles had a concussion. He was out, had to miss his All-Star game.
I mean, Giles had dizziness. Vinny hits that fastball high in the air. Shallow left center. Gonzalez signaling for help, and there's Moises Alou. And the inning is over. Cubs 2, Braves nothing. To the last of the second we go in Chicago.
Today's word is obvious.
Obvious?
Yes, obvious. Like dialing 1-800-COLLECT to make a collect call.
Collect calls, 1-800-COLLECT. That is obvious.
So is that fake laugh. 1-800-COLLECT. Duh.
Unsurpassed engineering. Unparalleled technology. It blows away the competition. Champion. Mach 3 Turbo Champion. It's the world's best shave. Gillette guarantees it. Now with a red-hot new look, nothing else even comes close. Test drive one today. Mach 3 Turbo Champion from Gillette. The best a man can get.
Heartburn?
Yeah. I tried Pepsid AC, but it takes like 40 minutes to start working.
Tum starts neutralizing acid fast. I'm taking Prilosec OTC. Read the label. That can take 1 to 4 days to fully kick in.
Delayed release tablet.
Delayed release. Should say delayed relief. Take Tums. Nothing's faster.
It's got the calcium I need.
What more do you want? I want Tums.
Always fast, always calcium, Tums.
Why do I rent from Enterprise? Because having the right car or truck makes all the difference. Sweetheart, your honey-do list just got a little bit longer. Sorry.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
People claim to have a method, a surefire approach.
I don't know anyone who
Stumbled into wealth.
I make money the
same way my clients do.
I work for it. Work hard.
Work hard.
A method.
System, a pattern. I get up every morning at 4:30.
When I look across the desk
At my clients,
I see a little bit of myself in them.
I think they see the same
In me. Smith Barney.
This is who we are.
This is how we earn it.
Rock and roll legend Roger Daltrey on the History Channel.
I never knew history could be this hard.
It's a bit extreme.
Have you ever eaten beaver?
Extreme History hosted by Roger Daltrey premieres Sunday night at 10:30, 9:30 Central, only on the History Channel.
Greg Maddux back in the hill now. 2-0 the score. Maddux and the Braves are down in this one. And here is Damian Miller, the 8th place hitter, bouncing a foul off to the left.
Well, the one thing to remember, when you have Mark Pryor in the lineup, you have 9 hitters in the lineup, not just 8. I mean, he's a very good hitter. So it doesn't come easy for Maddux when you get to the 9th spot.
And that's a called strike. Well, such a good hitter. Remember, in our telecast Wednesday, Dusty Baker was down to only one non-pitcher available on his bench, Troy O'Leary. And he was considering using Mark Pryor as a pinch hitter in that 9th inning if the game had not been a 5-3 Braves lead, but rather still tied. So, I mean, he is a very fine hitter. Pryor hit .250, and in 72 at-bats, he had 4 doubles and a homer. 0-2 the count to Damian Miller facing Greg Maddux. Maddux, who might be pitching his final game for the Braves. I mean, he's certainly hoping he'll pitch games for them in the League Championship Series and the World Series. But if things don't work out well for the Braves, if they get eliminated in this series, this could be his last game for them. And a sinker low and outside for a ball. 1-2. He's the final year of a contract again this year. And he said he would prefer to stay in Atlanta next year, but there's no guarantee that will happen. The 3rd, Vinny Castilla.
Nice play.
1 away. Let's go down now to the field, and here's Gary Miller.
John, you mentioned earlier that Greg Maddux and Javy Lopez haven't been a battery combination in 5 years, since '98. But Javy had the greatest power season ever for a catcher, setting the home run record behind the plate. So they knew they'd meet up and need his bat in the postseason. So the last 3 starts, he caught Maddux for the first time in the regular season in all that time. 17 innings, he gave up just 3 earned runs. He had a 1.59 ERA, and he went unbeaten in those 3 starts. In fact, if he hadn't gotten that 1.59 ERA, he already had the highest ERA of his career. It would have been over 4 without those 3 nice starts.
All right, so Javy had some success working with Greg Maddux.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, when Maddux first went over, I mean, he won a Cy Young Award, you know, pitching to Javy Lopez. So it's not that they cannot work together.
Mark Pryor. The high hop for Furcal. Pryor just jogging up the first base line, and is an easy out. 2 men gone.
Well, the one thing we should make the point is that Greg Maddux did not give up a lot of line drives in that first inning. There was the bunt that was misplayed at first base, and 2 soft line drives hit the right field. One by Randall Simon that drove in 2 runs, one by Kenny Lofton that got the inning started. So it wasn't that they beat him around or knocked him around. It's just circumstances allowed the Cubs to score 2 runs.
I mean, 2 of them really were balls that traveled banana-shaped arcs off the bat and into right field.
You're such a wordsmith.
In England, they would call those banana balls.
Oh, bananas.
Yeah, that's a phrase they use in soccer in England. So, I mean, it's not really hit well. You hit a banana ball out there. And then, I mean, Ramirez just hit a little bouncer through the right side. Now, that's a line drive. And in for a base hit. Hit hard by Lofton. He's 2 for 2.
Well, let's see if sometime during this at bat he'll try to steal a base. Fastball, it was supposed to be toward the outside corner, and it gets a lot of the plate down, and Lofton rips it to right field for a base hit. One of the things I'm noticing is they're playing the guys toward the right field line. Both the left-handed hitters and the right-handed hitters, meaning the Braves, over here.
And they're playing the same way for the right-handed batting Grudzielanek as they were for the left-handed batting Lofton.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure that out, but I'm sure they have their scouting reports, or, you know, they have the maps of where these guys have hit the ball, you know, during the season against Greg Maddux.
You know, Lofton, as we saw with K-zone, where that pitch was that he hit for the base hit, told us before the game that, you know, when Maddux is in the strike zone, he's hittable, and Lofton is running. Lopez throws. It's a bad throw. It's deflected and into right center, and Lofton will go to third. Furcal got a glove on it, but only succeeded in deflecting it away from Giles, who had hustled over to back it up.
And that's what you want to do. If you're Kenny Lofton, you get on base, I'm going to make something happen. And that's the way to play the game, especially against Greg Maddux. I mean, during the season, they were successful 26 out of 34 attempts against Maddux. He doesn't really get a great jump, though. But it was a tough pitch for Lopez. His throw is offline. And they, as you mentioned, Furcal knocked it away from Giles.
So now a runner at third, and they're doing the sarcastic tomahawk chop again here at Wrigley. Down and away.
I mean, when you have 27 stolen bases out of 35 attempts, you know, that tells you that you should run and keep running and put pressure on Maddux, because it has to be Maddux. Because remember, Javy Lopez wasn't catching him during all that time.
A ball and a strike, runner at third. And he takes it. Pretty good eye there by Grudzielanek. 2-1. He had a bunt single his first time that, again, it was scored as a hit, and I think rightly so, but Fick slipped in the grass and kind of mishandled it. You see that Kazan agreed with Grudzielanek on that one. The Braves made a lot of errors this year. They were not really a very good defensive team. That's deep to right. Sheffield into the corner, and he makes the catch.
Good thing they were playing him down the right field line, right? See, they have those scouting reports.
Worked out perfectly on that one. Still 2-0 Cubs.
I'm gonna go to the movies for dinner with my baby with the chick. Hey, gonna have some.
The Nintendo GameCube is now $99.99. It just keeps getting better, doesn't it?
I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, La Paloma, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Tocopilla, Barranquilla, and Padilla, Amarillo. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.
The road is full of choices. Stay twice at these Choice hotels this fall and earn a free night with Choice privileges. The more you stay, the more you earn. For reservations or more details, visit choicehotels.com. Choice Hotels. We'll see you there.
Bring home the most hilarious night of comedy ever when the producer of the original Kings of Comedy puts 5 of the hottest new comics on stage. With host D.L. Hughley, Latham Entertainment presents October 7th on DVD and video. Rated R. Visit LathamEntertainment.com.
Join the thousands who've switched to Sonic for a better tasting breakfast. Like our Breakfast Club Toaster Sandwich, made with ham, egg, cheese, tomato, and bacon, and served on thick Texas toast. Drive into Sonic and have a good morning.
Okay, 2 blades are better than 1, and 3 blades are better than 2. And that's as good as it gets, right? Wrong. The new Schick Quattro has the power of 4 blades and 2 conditioning strips, which makes Quattro unlike any other razor. And those 4 blades give you an incredibly close, smooth shave. So your 5 o'clock shadow shows up late. 4 blades. Where will it stop? Here. Schick Quattro, the power of 4.
I've been beating deals since I was a kid.
I'll cut your lawn for 50 cents.
I'll do it for 40.
At ABC, we train our people to beat every deal.
Ooh, geez, I don't think I can beat that deal.
Hey, when it comes to beating deals, I believe in tough love.
I can beat that deal.
Again.
I can beat that deal.
Again.
I can beat that deal.
Attaboy.
Get this Sony 32-inch Plasma HD TV only $39.99 before instant in-store savings.
When you think about the most important moments in your life, what were you wearing? Every man should own at least one suit. We invite you to buy yours from us.
100% wool suits, starting at $200.
You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Men's Warehouse. To contact the store nearest you, call 1-800-776-SUIT.
Top of the third, Greg Maddux to lead off for the Atlanta Braves against Mark Pryor. Pryor and the Cubs out in front, 2-0. Rafael Furcal, the leadoff man, is on deck. And then Giles. Fastball in there for a strike. You got the young Pryor against the old hand and the great Greg Maddux. 289 lifetime wins, 4 Cy Young awards. Maddux popping a foul. And there have been some matchups like that over the years on big stages. 1966, Jim Palmer, 20 years old, up against Sandy Koufax. And Palmer beat Koufax in that World Series. Tom Seaver, Mike Cuellar, the 69 World Series. And the young Seaver beat Cuellar, the veteran. Dwight Gooden, Nolan Ryan, 1986 League Championship Series. And Gooden got the best of the Ryan Express. That's a foul. And John Smoltz of the Braves up against Jack Morris in the 1991 World Series, Game 7. And that was a great matchup as well. And Smoltz got the best of that one. And we didn't even know about Smoltz yet.
Yeah, but you're not talking about just average young pitchers. You're talking about guys that went on to stardom and, you know, became very, very good pitchers. And that's what you expect from Mark Pryor. You expect him to go ahead and become, you know, one of those stars over the course of his career.
Jim Palmer got his nickname from that World Series game. Cakes. They showed him in the newspaper having a stack of pancakes. As he said, he always, before he would start a big game, would eat a stack of pancakes. And to his teammates, ever after, the future Hall of Famer, Jim Palmer, was known as Cakes. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Greg Maddux. Maddux hits one of the air to right field. Sosa easing to his left. And the wind is picked up a little bit, by the way. Out number 1. Mark DeRosa of the Braves is wearing a microphone. He was talking to his teammate Chipper Jones about Pryor.
Don't look like, I mean, it looks hard, but it don't look like giddy up he had that one time. It's harder once you get up there. Yeah, exactly. I know.
I like that. It's harder once you get up there. It's kind of easy sitting over here in the dugout. Doesn't look that hard. It's like up here. It doesn't look that hard from up here, John, but I know once you step in that batter's box, there is some giddy up on the fastball.
Well, DeRosa, I think, is very perceptive, though, because, you know, they remember Pryor throwing 97 miles an hour, and we haven't seen too many. Most of his fastball has been around 93, 94 in this one.
Well, one thing to remember, it's a cool night, you know, and the wind's blowing. I mean, you're not going to be as loose as you would be on a midsummer afternoon or a midsummer evening.
For Cow, the little bloop behind the mound, racing in, Grudzielanek, a dive, and he makes the catch. A little slow in getting up. He might have hurt himself. Not quite like Billy Martin in the World Series back in 52 or 53. He caught one in front of the mound racing in from second base, but it'll do. He got the job done.
Well, a good pitch by Pryor right in on the hands of Furcal. Right there, he just kind of pops it up. And if this ball hits the ground, it's a base hit. Grudzielanek, but you can see his front, watch his right arm going to the ground first. Right, watch his elbow right there. And he jars his elbow, and that's...
There's a bloop by Giles, and that's going to be a base hit into right center. Giles, who struck out his first time, gets the Braves' first hit of this game. Pryor had walked 3 in the first 2 innings. And that keeps in and going for Gary Sheffield now. 2-0. The Cubs lead Atlanta. A powerful Sheffield coming up. Sheffield, who was 1 for 16 in that division series against the Giants last year, 1 for 8 so far in this one. And although, you know, he feels like he's swinging well, he's making hard contact. Bobby Cox is saying it. But, you know, Sheffield would like to break out and just actually start getting some hits here. Start being Gary Sheffield. I mean, that's got to play in your mind a little bit for Gary Sheffield. Although, as he said the other night, he says, hey, you know, all you can do is hit it hard. I mean, you can't really guide it. If it goes right at somebody, well, it's bad luck for you.
Well, one of the things he's done, though, is he's pulled the ball down the third baseline most of the time. And, you know, during the season, he hit .330, and that he was using the entire field a little bit more.
Well, the shortstop, Gonzalez, was over into the hole to begin with. And they get the force out on Giles at second with Grudzielanek coverage. Sheffield is gone. Sosa, Alou, and Simon coming up for the
Cubs. Every day, all over the world, millions of people receive Adobe PDFs. But few realize just how simple they are to create. Which begs the question, is it better to give a PDF or to receive one? The PDF from Adobe Acrobat.
When we drafted Tim Duncan, I invited him to my home to get ready for the season. He was learning so much.
That doesn't count, you were out.
The roses are out, Timmy, not the daisies. So one day, you brought this into my home. It's not
Not something I'm proud of.
I calmly explained how Edge Pro Gel protects better than foam because it has 8 rich lubricants.
David sure knew how to make a guy feel comfortable.
More lemonade, Tim?
Edge Pro Gel. Save your skin.
Roses, Tim, are out of bounds.
Go with the gnomes. The gnomes can be out of bounds.
Sometimes the seemingly mismatched romance between beauty and brains can produce remarkable results, like the high-tech GE Profile series of appliances, perhaps the smartest and most beautiful we've ever designed. GE Profile appliances, the perfect marriage of beauty and brains. GE, imagination at work.
Life is full of choices. Using credit wisely is the first step toward owning a home. Call the Fannie Mae Foundation for a free guide to understanding your credit and a list of lenders and credit counselors.
ESPN's presentation of the 2003 MLB Division Series. Brought to you by Flexible Enterprise Systems that are easy to buy, easy to own, easy as Dell. And American Airlines. Choose the airline that fits your schedule, not the other way around.
I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan tonight. From Wrigley Field, Chicago, the Atlanta Braves trailing the Cubs 2-0. The series tied at a game apiece. Now Sammy Sosa, the power coming up for the Cubs. Sosa, Alou, and then Randall Simon against Greg Maddux. Sammy reaching for one. Furcal ranging to his left to get it and throws him out. So Sammy, who struck out his first time, out on the first pitch this time.
Well, the Baker boys, as they're called here in Chicago, they better not try to sit on this lead and think that leave it for Mark Pryor to shut the Braves down. You need to try to build on what you have. Good pitch there by Maddux as usual, just out of the zone. And he got Sammy to chase it. And a nice play there by Furcal.
Furcal, remember, was way over into the hole toward the third base line for Sammy.
But what he did there, John, is he cut it off. He didn't run around it. He just went and cut it off.
Moises Alou yanks one foul into the seats near the Cubs bullpen. Alou flying out to center his first time. Now, Sammy Sosa was on that Cubs team in '98 that played the Braves. The Cubs won the wild card, beating the Giants in a playoff. But that series was over in a hurry. Maddux won the clinching game right here at Wrigley. Alou hammers one to left, but a liner, and caught by Chipper Jones.
Well, they hit a couple of bloops that fell in the first inning. They're hitting some line drives now that are getting caught.
The final out of the second inning, Grudzielanek hit one real well down the right field line. And this one was really clobbered by Moises, but just didn't get under that ball at all. Fans out there in Waveland Avenue, but you can see the flags up there, the retired numbers of Ernie Banks and Ron Santo flying from the left field foul pole, blowing in. Randall Simon, sinker off the outside for ball one. Simon got the clutch, 2-out hit to drive in the Cubs 2 runs in the first inning. 2 down, nobody on here in the third. 1 ball, no strikes. Simon goes after one, and Giles plays the high hop, and the Cubs are gone in a hurry in the third inning, a 5-pitch inning for Maddux. Chipper Jones, Javy Lopez, and Andruw Jones, 3 powerful hitters coming up. 2-0 Cubs.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's a new dance floor. A nap with your best friend. It's everything under the sun for everything under your feet. All at the guaranteed low price. And now through November 5th, save 20% on select special order flooring, including wood, laminate, ceramic tile, and vinyl. Whether you do it yourself or have it installed, nobody covers more floors more stylishly than we do. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Good night.
truly flat beds in business class. British Airways.
It's not just the advanced technology, the 57 patents, or the world's best blades. It's the way it's all put together. No razor shaves better than Gillette Mach 3 Turbo. The proof is in the shave. We guarantee it or your money back. Mach 3 Turbo is the world's best shave. The closest, the most comfortable. It's a fact. We guarantee it. Mach 3 Turbo from Gillette. The best a man can get.
Dear DirecTV, cable says reception quality is poor with satellite TV. Lies! My reception is way better with DirecTV than it ever was with cable. Sincerely, John Amenta. Did I capture the guy's anger? Yeah? Thank you.
Act now and get a 3-room DirecTV system, including equipment and installation, free.
Cut!
Join the thousands who've switched to Sonic for a better tasting breakfast. Like our Breakfast Club Toaster Sandwich, made with ham, egg, cheese, tomato, and bacon, and served on thick Texas toast. Drive into Sonic and have a good morning.
Cubs 2, Braves nothing. Cubs with 5 hits, the Braves with 1 as we start the 4th inning. The middle of the Atlanta order coming up. Chipper Jones, Javy Lopez, and Andruw Jones against Mark Pryor. Pryor walked 3 in the first 2 innings, very uncharacteristically for him. And here in Chicago, could this be the year? I mean, they always want to believe the Cubs, of course, have not even been in the World Series since 1945. Not won one since 1908. Chipper fouls one back and out of play.
Well, John, I was always taught when you face a guy that throws real hard, you don't swing harder trying to catch up with it. You swing quicker. And that may be semantics to a lot of people, but what it really means is you try to make sure you get your hands out there, use your hands more than you use your body.
To shortstop, Alex Gonzalez. Number 1.
But since I was taught that way, and it worked, let's listen to a batting champion talk about how he would handle Mark Pryor.
Whatever the ball was pitched, like a regular game, you know, whatever the ball's pitched, if it's outside, just swing with the ball over there. Well, I want to stay back. Okay. I want to use my hands because when my hands are working good, that means that my lower body is working good. Okay. But if my hands are all over the play, my lower body is going to be all over the play. That's when you start jumping. It doesn't matter who's throwing out there. It could be throwing 100 miles per hour. The more harder they throw, the more concentration and relaxed that I am because I know that I'm going to create some bat speed with my hand.
And that's what he's talking about. Relax your hands and throw your hands at the ball instead of using your body and swinging harder. Just swing quicker. And no one does it better than Albert Pujols.
And Javy Lopez did it well a few times this year.
Yeah.
43 home runs. It's kind of 0-2 though here against Mark Pryor. Yeah, well, with Albert Pujols' credentials, he's sort of the hitting version of Mark Pryor. Yeah. I mean, he's a prodigy, a phenom at a very young age. He's already one of the best in the game. Got on top of that fastball. Gonzalez, plenty of time. 2 men down.
And if you're Dusty Baker, you like what you see here, John, because you're not ringing up a high pitch count for Mark Pryor, and he is relaxed throwing strikes and forcing them to make, contact. It looks great when you strike out 11 or 12 hitters, but if you have to throw 100 pitches in 6 innings to do it, then it hurts you over the course of the ball game. So he's happy to see those first 2 hitters go out on a couple of pitches.
And that's always been a concern this year. Pryor has thrown a lot of pitches in many of his games. In fact, he averaged 130 pitches per start in his 6 September starts.
And you do not want that here in September to continue. You do not want it to continue, although we've gone into October now.
But all the more reason they don't want it to continue. And Pryor, I mean, he's never pitched in October before. This is new territory for him. 0-2 to Andruw Jones. 2 down and nobody on, the crowd on its feet. And the curve misses. 1-2. Pryor got that extra day of rest, which at this time of year is always a blessing since his last start. Jones chased that curve and rolled it softly foul to the left. Pryor pitched last Saturday against the Pirates, the first game of that huge doubleheader that they swept and clinched the division title in so doing. So since then, he has not pitched until tonight. 1-2. Goes inside with the fastball. 2-2.
And the one thing you always have to like about Pryor when you watch him pitch, he will come inside. And whether you're right-handed or left-handed, he keeps you honest.
Ooh, just off the outside with that breaking ball. Andruw had nerves of steel to take that one with 2 strikes.
Well, after a pitch inside, you're not going to go diving out to get this breaking ball. That's pretty much well off the plate. And that's a bad sequence right there of pitching, too, because he had him 0-2, and you walk him without giving him another pitch or good fastball, which is your best pitch.
So the 4th walk by Pryor. It's twice that he's walked Andruw Jones.
But when you go 0-2, John, and your second pitch was your good fastball to get to the second strike, it's okay to throw a couple breaking balls away or a fastball in, but you can't go to 3-2. The 2-2 pitch should have been a real good fastball.
Now Robert Fick, he hit a double play ball his first time. He's 0 for 7 in this series. Backdoored him with the breaking ball for a strike.
And he has been able to throw the breaking ball to left-handers for strikes better than he has to the right-handers, because I think he's always trying to hit the outside edge with the right-handed pitchers, and the left-hander, he's bringing it from the other side.
Andruw Jones runs well, back to the bag at first. Greg Maddux getting some mud off his spikes during the between innings break for him. 1 ball, 1 strike to Fick.
And John, what I meant by throw him a couple of curveballs as he did Andruw Jones, that makes him have to wait a hair longer. That makes your fastball 4 miles faster than it actually is, because he's waiting a little longer with 2 strikes because you've just thrown him a couple of curveballs.
Fick into right center. Lofton loses his cap, but he grabs the ball, and the inning is over. 1 man left. Last of the 4th, Ramirez coming up. 2-0 Chicago.
I fly for business.
Business.
Business. As in making money. I need to be thinking about my meeting.
Not whether I'm going to make my meeting.
I need flights.
Lots of flights.
I need cities. I need perks.
And I need to get home.
Look, if it wasn't important.
Look, if it wasn't important.
I wouldn't be flying
halfway across the country or halfway around the world.
I need an airline
that understands all that.
Next time you fly, get a lot more airline on American Airlines.
My name's Matthew Wang.
I fly American.
My name is Michael Malden. I fly American Airlines.
ESPN Radio. Go to ESPNradio.com to find it in your town.
I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, Paloma, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Tocopilla, Barranquilla, and Padilla, Amarillo. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.
The road is full of choices. Stay twice at these Choice hotels this fall and earn a free night with Choice privileges. The more you stay, the more you earn. For reservations or more details, visit choicehotels.com. Choice Hotels. We'll see you there.
At Lifespan Visiting Nurse Services, we care for you like family. There is no substitute for an experienced visiting nurse. Lifespan, assisting you and your family with the physical and emotional burden of an illness.
Umpires rising.
How many? 10,000 strong at least.
Let them come.
Coming up next. Arwen's time is over. Let her go. It's the ring.
Bruno!
It's taking hold of you.
Academy Award winner for Best Sound Editing, Best Visual Effects, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, is on in-demand pay-per-view. This spectacular epic starts every half hour today on Comcast Digital Cable.
ESPN's presentation of the 2003 MLB Division Series, brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb Company. Hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine.
Get to Maddux early. And a lot of teams did this year. Maddux gave up nearly a third of his runs for the whole season in the first inning of games. And the Cubs got to him for 2 in the first tonight. But more often than not, Maddux then would settle in. And so far he has in this one. As the count to Aramis Ramirez is a ball and a strike. Ramirez got a base hit his first time. Just a bouncer to the right side through the open hole on the right side with the first baseman covering the bag against the runner. Curveball inside. 2-1. Greg Maddux, we mentioned the last time he pitched in the postseason in Wrigley was 1998 when he beat the Cubs to clinch that series. And then prior to that, the last time was 1989. He pitched in the league championship series against the Giants here for the Cubs. A mighty cut by Ramirez. 2-2.
Well, Greg just kind of reached back and let that fastball go on the inner half of the plate. And Ramirez couldn't catch up with it.
Pitchers have been given permission tonight by the umpires to blow in their hands while on the mound, which is ordinarily not allowed. Ramirez, a high fly ball along the left field line. It's against the wind, and Chipper Jones one away. In 1989, game 1 right here at Wrigley, Will Clark got the best of the young Greg Maddux. 14 years ago, Will hit a home run to right center, and then later on he had hit a grand slam, which was just a smash out onto Sheffield Avenue. You know, Will Clark said that, you know, Don Zimmer just before that at bat had gone out to talk to Maddux, and that Clark, and I can't remember whose lips he was reading, but he said he saw either Maddux or Zimmer mouth something like, "I'm going to go fastball in." So Clark went up there, got a fastball in, and hit it out onto the streets of Chicago for a grand slam. One out. Here's Alex Gonzalez. Castilla was playing him shallow and couldn't handle that one. Furcal runs it down in shallow left field, and it's an error on Vinny Castilla.
Oh, you're right. He was playing in very shallow, and he got the in-between hop. He didn't have a chance, you know, to maneuver back or forward. If anything, he's got to come forward right there, but it was too far in front of him, so being that shallow, he wasn't able to read the bounce. He started in, and then he had to back up. And that was all caused because he was playing in shallow, thinking that Gonzalez protecting against the bunt.
That is the second Atlanta error. They're going to bring up Damian Miller. Lopez out to the mound meanwhile, talking to Greg Maddux. Maddux had another start in that '89 series and got roughed up again, got knocked out early, and overall gave up 11 earned runs in 7 1/3 innings to the Giants that year. And that was the World Series where Will Clark put on one of the great shows that any hitters ever put on in a postseason series, except in the same series, Mark Grace did almost the same stuff that Clark was doing. It was worth the price of admission just to see those two guys. They both hit over 600 in that league championship series.
Well, one of the things the Cubs have put on Greg's mind is that they will run. And you see him he called Javy Lopez out, and now he's throwing over to first base. They have his attention.
Well, they're running and they pitch out. And a good throw this time by Javy.
Well, that's one of the ways to combat base stealers.
Well, they saw that one coming, didn't
they? Yeah, well, they definitely did. And you wonder sometimes why you would go on the very first pitch. And you see the pitch out. Good pitch out. Good throw.
Miller now with 2 down and nobody out. I have a theory about why he went on the first pitch.
Give me that theory.
Well, guys usually are aggressive against Maddux. They do a lot of first ball swinging because they're afraid of getting behind him. So if you're going to go, you better go early, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they've showed Maddux that they're going to be aggressive on the bases. And he just called the catcher out. I mean, he calls the catcher out. He throws to first base from one pitch, then he calls the catcher out. I mean, somewhere that should register that, well, he is concerned about me at first base.
So Gonzalez got tagged out at second. He says, you know, maybe they were talking about me when they were talking out there. 2 down and nobody on. Miller with a 3-ball 1-strike count. The pitcher, Pryor, is up next. But Miller swung at air that time. You know, Eric Karras made a comment to us. He said facing Maddux is like playing wiffle ball in your backyard as a kid. You know, because the ball looks like it's defying physics. And that pitch was one of them. You swung at it, looked like it was right there, and then it wasn't there. Ran the sinker in under the hands, and it's a foul. Still 3-2. Maddux at this point, though, just trying to keep the Braves close and hope that that great offense will somewhere along the line get it going against Pryor.
Well, a 2-0 lead is not a big lead, so I mean, if you're the Braves, you do not panic.
Just off the outside. Ball forward. The Giants and Marlins played earlier today. Let's get an update from that ball game with Carl Ravitch.
Hi, John. Thank you very much. Those who didn't see it, it was a great game. San Francisco had grabbed the lead in extra innings. In the bottom of the 11th, Jeff Conine hit a ball down the right field line with no man out. And Jose Cruz Jr., Bobby Valentine just dropped it.
He dropped it, and Conine didn't run. It worked out to the benefit of the Marlins.
Because Pudge Rodriguez, who had a phenomenal game, comes up with the game-winning RBIs. Earlier in the game, he had homered. Marlins win. They got a 2-1 lead, John.
All right, so the Giants will be trying to avoid elimination tomorrow. Day game in Florida. You'll be able to see it on ESPN2 starting at 1 Eastern, noon Central. Here's Mark Pryor. Felipe Alou said after the ball game that, hey, the Giants just gave that one away, and they did. The only runs the Marlins scored in that game on the 2-run homer by Pudge Rodriguez in the very first inning against Kirk Reeder, and then his 2-run single in extra innings. So Pudge drove in all 4 of their runs in a 4-3 win. Dusty Baker studying his notes in the Cubs dugout. He's got Miller at first, Pryor at the plate, 1-1 the count. And the curveball. Maddux shows Pryor some respect there.
Well, they know that he's a good hitter and he's strong enough to hit the ball out of the ballpark. But the one thing that they were able to accomplish with Maddux walking Miller is that even if he retires him, Kenny Lofton will lead off, and that's what you want. You want Kenny Lofton leading off because with no one on base, he can pick his pitches and try to steal another base.
Lofton led off the first inning with a hit, and then started a 2-run rally. That's a foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Atlanta Braves, 12 straight division titles under Bobby Cox. That does not include the year of the strike, 1994, when they were actually in second place to Felipe Alou's Montreal Expos when the season stopped. So in all of the seasons that have been played to a conclusion, though, the last 12, they've finished in first. Furcal can't handle it. And Pryor is out. Well, anybody running but a pitcher would have been safe on that one. The Braves are having a hard time with ground balls in this one. We're going to the 5th inning. Castilla, then Maddux coming up. That was close. 2-0 Chicago.
What's the secret of success?
You start with an insight, a vision,
An indicator. There is no secret.
No secret.
It's 1% inspiration.
followed by midnight oil.
Lots of elbow grease.
Determination.
Cheers. Stubborn.
Relentless.
Determination.
Where there's a will.
There's always a way.
Provided, of course, you know what you're doing.
I don't know anyone.
Who's better trained than we are?
You want results?
Come prepared.
Stay late.
Smith Barney.
This is who we are.
This is how we earn it.
Inside that flashlight behind the new halogen bulb is something familiar, a battery. And while it may not be the biggest decision of your day, consider this. When the Rocky Mountain Rescue Group needs light to save lives, they trust Duracell. So whether it's lighting up a mountain rescue or illuminating a world of wizards and hobbits, it just has to work. Duracell, trusted everywhere.
Sometimes when you search for a job online, you find a lot of really old job listings. I mean, most of them are already filled. But for the ones that aren't, that means that the companies must be really desperate, right? My resume looks pretty good when they're desperate.
Hold on. Let's try that again with slightly fresher leads.
I got the job because I went to careerbuilder.com. They didn't waste my time with a bunch of jobs that had already been filled, so I knew that whatever I found there was worth going after.
Now that's a smarter way to find a better job. careerbuilder.com.
Time. It's
luck's always against you, especially when you want to be on vacation. Just go to Hertz.com and sign up for Hertz #1 Club with Express Service. It's free. You'll spend less time at the counter. Get special discounts, too. At Hertz, we know exactly how you feel, so we have exactly what you need.
Cubs 2, Braves nothing as we start the 5th inning. Mark Pryor looked like he stumbled there trying to throw a warm-up pitch. And he almost beat out this ground ball to end the Cubs half of the 4th inning.
Yeah, but only because Furcal has a strong arm, and you'll see that his foot is probably about 2 inches off the bag, above the bag, when Fick catches the ball in his glove. And he probably wasn't running as hard at first because it looks like it's going to be a force out at second base. But then all of a sudden, he sees him drop the ball, and it was very close, but Larry Young got it correct at first base, even though Gene Klein's is trying to help him. See, that's supposed to be a force out. Now all of a sudden he sees him drop it, and he can't quite get there. But Furcal has such a strong arm. That's what made the play.
You know, in a way, I mean, maybe Lofton would have done something dramatic and driven in a couple of runs. Who knows? But in a way, it could work out even better that he was out, and now Lofton does lead off the next inning. Maybe they'll get something started in front of the big hitters. Meanwhile, tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, join Chris, Lee, and Kirk in Austin, Texas for College Game Day. Built by the Home Depot, they'll preview the Big 12 showdown between Kansas State and Texas, as well as analyze the biggest matchups in college football. College Game Day live from Austin, Texas tomorrow, beginning at 10:30 Eastern Time in the morning on ESPN at 7:30 Pacific Time. Vinny Castilla swinging and missing at that first pitch, high fastball.
Well, he didn't take that fastball. You mentioned he took a fastball the first time, but he did not.
Well, they're ready for a football game here. It's as if the Bears are playing tonight. They're dressed for football, and some rare October baseball here at Wrigley Field. Although Dusty Baker has some plans to make it much less rare now and for years to come. Castilla chasing that high fastball. He flied out to shallow left center his first time. 1-2 strikes to count.
Well, it tells you that he's got a good fastball, and there's a second stage to it. His fastball kind of gets there, and then it jumps at you. And when Vinny Castilla misses your fastball, you've got a good one.
So Tom Goodman in the dugout looked like he just came in from building a snowman. And that curve is a foul over toward the Cubs dugout. 1-2 strikes.
All of your great power pitchers that have great fastballs, it seems like there's a second stage to it. The ball gets halfway to the plate and it just kind of jumps at you.
Ball and 2 strikes to Castilla. Greg Maddux, the pitcher, on deck. Bryant tries it again. And Vinny is a sort of a desperation 2-strike hack on that one, and he managed to fight it off. Seems like mainly we're seeing Pryor throw that fastball and that breaking ball. I don't remember too many changeups. 1-2. Ooh. That one glancing off the bat as Vinny actually was trying to get out of the way of it.
Well, you're right. I mean, he has not used the changeup very much tonight, but he's throwing 2 types of breaking balls. One is a little harder, the other is more of a slurve, and that acts as a changeup sometimes. You can see Vinny trying to get out of the way. He did check his swing and fouled it off.
2-0. The Cubs are leading. We're in the 5th. Inside. So Castilla is doing a service here for the Braves because he's making Pryor throw some pitches here, building up that pitch count. And a pop-up down the right field line. Randall Simon going out into foul ground into the visiting bullpen, and he can't quite get there. It was the 72nd pitch now thrown by Pryor, and he's thrown 8 of them here to Vinny Castilla. We're at Wrigley Field, Chicago, postseason baseball. The Cubs and the Braves. Cubs are leading 2-0. They got 2 runs in the first on Randall Simon's clutch 2-out, 2-run single. Sellout crowd at Wrigley, 39,982, the official crowd. We had a 31-minute rain delay before we actually got it started. It's cool. The wind is blowing in from left. And a curveball. snaps in there, freezes Castilla, strike 3.
And that is his first strikeout since the first inning. As we noted earlier, he was using his pitches more sparingly. Breaking ball that just catches the inside corner.
Now Maddux into center. Lofton going back on it. Now he's under. Number 2. Mark DeRosa went a microphone to the Atlanta dugout. He was talking about Mark Pryor earlier.
Picks up his velocity halfway to the plate. You know what I mean? The last half. It's got extra. It's like easy wow. It rises a little bit. Like Jason Schmidt, just like bang.
That was interesting because Marcus Giles was also in the conversation, the 2 Atlanta second basemen, analyzing Pryor. I mean, Giles said he thinks it picks up speed halfway to the plate. Bluffing the bunt for Furcal, and he takes a strike. I think DeRosa's getting a little more impressed with Pryor now from the dugout than he was earlier. There's that breaking ball. 0-2.
It's always going to look easier from the dugout, though. That little square box up there changes everything when you stand in there.
Crowd on its feet. Furcal just got a piece of that breaking ball. Still 0-2. The ballpark is filled. The rooftops across the streets are filled.
Now that's more of a curveball. He gets on top of that one. We've seen him throw more slider type or slurve types to right-handed hitters. And he seems to have better control of it against left-handers.
Struck him out. The high, hard one up around the eyes of Furcal. The Braves have only 1 hit through 5. Top of the order, Lofton, Grudzielanek, and Sammy Sosa coming up.
Let's see, I bought yellow pencils, yellow Post-it notes, yellow boxers. Yellow boxers.
$14.
Land courier, air courier, pedicure, reader.
$137.
2 printers, 2 scanners, 2 tutus.
$540. Keeping business expenses separate from personal expenses? Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Apply online for the MasterCard business card.
You know, hon, you could always stay with Fran and Carl. Ah, you think I'm a hotel?
Maybe we should just get a room when we get into town. We're booked. Why don't we call your brother Jeff? He's always traveling.
And always on short notice.
The best deals? It's a no-brainer. Hotels.com.
Hotels.com.
Save on thousands of hotels worldwide.
Yes!
Hotels.com. The best prices at the best places. Guaranteed.
Heartburn?
Yeah. I tried Pepsid AC, but it takes like 40 minutes to start working.
Tom starts neutralizing acid fast. I'm taking Prilosec OTC. Read the label. That can take 1 to 4 days to fully kick in.
Delayed release tablet.
Delayed release. It should say delayed relief. Take Tums. Nothing's faster.
It's got the calcium I need.
What more do you want? I want Tums.
Always fast, always calcium, Tums.
Go to the movies for dinner with my baby with the chick. Hey, gonna have some.
The Nintendo GameCube is now $99.99. It just keeps getting better, doesn't it?
Rock and roll legend Roger Daltrey on the History Channel.
I never knew history could be this hard.
It's a bit extreme.
Have you ever eaten beaver?
Extreme History hosted by Roger Daltrey premieres Sunday night at 10:30, 9:30 Central, only on the History Channel.
There are ordinary disposable razors, but now there's new Sensor 3 from Gillette. Totally new handle, 3 blades, on springs that adjust to your face. No disposable shaves better. It could be the best disposable you ever threw away. New Gillette Sensor 3.
Now the Cubs in the last of the 5th inning. The Cubs 2, Atlanta 0. As Kenny Lofton, the leadoff man, leads off against Greg Maddux. And Lofton has had 2 hits and has scored a run, 2 steals. Thought about bunting, took it off the outside. Castilla came rushing in from third. He's now 4 for 10 in this series, plus 2 walks, and he's had 3 steals. Again, thought about bunting, took it, but called a strike that time. Lofton didn't like it.
Well, clearly it's on the inside corner, but what happens when you start to bunt, you move toward the plate a little bit, and it felt like it was inside.
And Maddux tries it again, a little bit too far in that time. 2-1. By the way, Lofton with 2 steals in the same game. This marks the first time that any Cub has had 2 steals in the same postseason game in 71 years. Billy Jurgis, 1932, against the Yankees, was the last Cub to do it. Now 3-1. Mark Grudzielanek is on deck. Then the power hitters, Sosa, Sammy, in the hole. Due up third in the inning. 3-1 to Lofton. Pops it up. And that will go back out of play. You know, I remember, I think you worked the 95 World Series when the Atlanta Braves met the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, I did. I did work that game.
I mean, and Lofton, I mean, he put on a show in that World Series.
Well, as I said all the time, you have to want to be on the big stage, and he loves being, you know, center stage. That's why he's such a good player in the postseason.
3-2. And I mean, he's kind of revisiting his youth here in a way tonight with these 2 steals already. We're only in the 5th inning. I mean, remember that series, the Braves couldn't stop him. He'd steal second, he'd steal third. He had everybody up tight on the infield. 3-2 the count. Broken back, but very softly. Giles hurrying in, just got it.
Excellent pitch there by Maddux. The ball just sinking down and away. Lofton almost had to throw his bat at the ball. And that comes because he had thrown so many pitches inside to Lofton. And you see that ball is sinking down and away. Just about a perfect pitch in that situation.
And that was a big out for Maddux.
Very big.
Falling behind it, 3-1. Comes back to get him. Not Grudzielanek, who had a bunt that went for a hit in the 1st inning. That was a big play in that 1st inning.
I think Grudzielanek is one of the really underrated, you know, second basemen in the league as far as offense is concerned. He's a good hitter. I mean, he's a good guy to hit in the second position because he can hit behind the runner. He can hit and run. He can do a lot of things for you offensively.
And he was great down the stretch, especially. Grudzielanek, who was injured for a while, ended up hitting .314 for the season. But in September, he hit .359. And the Cubs finished with a flourish. And that's a foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sammy Sosa is on deck. And out on Wegner Avenue, there's quite a crowd out there outside Wrigley Field. Hoping maybe they'll catch a Sammy Sosa playoff home run ball. Sammy not done anything against Maddux so far tonight. 2 balls and a strikeout.
One thing that Bobby Cox told us today is that he will be able to tell when Maddux starts to tire or when he starts to lose it a little bit.
Andruw Jones. And that's out number 2.
Because as you said, he throws a lot. He's made a lot of starts, but he did not throw that many innings in each start.
So 2 down. Sosa coming up. Sammy. There's all these Cubs fans here rooting him on tonight, and also his wife. There's Sonia. And right next to Sonia, to her left, is his mom, Lucretia. And it's ball 1 to Sammy Sosa. He has struck out and grounded out tonight. And Sammy, I mean, his last at bat, he chased a Greg Maddux pitch on the first pitch to hit that ground ball to short.
Well, that came because he struck out the first time up.
That one was up and off the glove of Furcal. Wow, the Braves continue to have a hard time in the infield catching a ball.
Well, that ball had some knuckle on it, I'm sure. What I mean by that, the ball is like a knuckleball. It comes out there and it dances one way. This pitch was up, and Sammy got on top of it. And they're scoring it as an error, but watch where this pitch is. It's up. Now he gets on top of it. Now watch how that ball sinks. See, it's coming down and diving. You can see the seams there. The ball definitely knuckled on it. And I'm not sure you call that an error, but they are calling it that. But the ball really knuckled on Furcal.
So Sosa is aboard on the error. That's the third error charged to the Braves. Second of the infield in the last 2 innings. Moises Alou is the hitter. And the throw to first. Sammy has stolen a base in this series in game 1.
But he hasn't stolen many over the last couple of years. He doesn't run that often anymore.
He did not steal any bases during the entire regular season. Moises Alou. Right up the middle. That's a base hit. Sammy will stop at second. The ball is overrun by Andruw Jones, and he slips and falls in the wet turf. And Sammy goes to third, and the ball will be run back to the infield by Furcal. Wow. The fourth error by the Braves.
Well, I think you're going to see that it wasn't so much the wet turf here, but Andruw Jones kind of looked up to see if Sammy was going, because after he missed the ball is when he slipped. Let's see, watch, he'll come in. See, he slips after he missed the ball, right there.
Andruw had 3 errors all season. Now here's Randall Simon. He got the clutch 2-out hit to knock in a couple of runs in the first inning, the only runs of the game up to now, and here he is with a chance to do some more damage against his old team. Simon is 1 for 2 in the game and 2 for 4 in the series. Sosa at third, Alou at first. That is foul. For the Braves. A wild throw by Lopez in the second. An error by Castilla in the fourth. There's Furcal, who made the error with 2 down on the Sosa liner. Although, as you pointed out, Joe, it was a tougher play maybe than it looked.
Yeah, the ball really knuckled on him. So I think you're in a situation here, 1 ball, 2 strikes with Greg Maddux pitching. I think you run here, because you put a little more pressure on the defense. Plus, if he's out, Simon can start his at-bat all over again.
Simon chasing one that was about shoe-top high, and he's thrown out by Giles, and the inning is over. 1 hit, 2 errors, 2 left. Now to the 6th, Giles, Sheffield, and Chipper Jones coming up.
Coming up on SportsCenter, a thriller down in Florida. Emmett's return to the Big D. The Canes' title hopes take a huge hit. Plus, complete post-game coverage from Wrigley. SportsCenter after the game. ESPN.
Sometimes you need a little help staying in the game. Ask your doctor about new Levitra. But once you get in the zone, it's good. Ask your doctor if a new choice is right for you. Ask about new Levitra.
I was running in the street in San Pedro, and now I'm wake up in the major leagues. I play hard every day because this is the way that we play in my country. I never would dream that I would be playing at major league level. Playing Wrigley feels like, wow, it's like another dream come true. I lived for this.
Watch the Division Series on ESPN. Don't miss it.
Morning.
Whenever you need help with your heating, wherever you need it, your Bryant dealer will get it to you.
Found your paper in the driveway.
Whatever it takes.
Your participating Bryant dealer is offering a factory rebate of up to $1,000 on selected Bryant high-efficiency systems. Contact your Bryant dealer today.
Ask anybody. When I graduated from college, I needed a car fast. My parents wanted me to get the safest, most dependable car. So I got a Toyota Corolla. But what was cool was it came with everything I wanted. And it gets great mileage. My Toyota dealer got me a great deal on financing. That was pretty cool too.
Ask neighbors and friends.
Ask anybody in West Michigan. And be sure to ask about the great deals at your West Michigan Toyota dealer now.
There's nothing worse than sitting at your computer and you're waiting and you're waiting.
In Los Angeles, internet users are taking the Net Zero High-Speed Challenge. 2 computers connected to the internet through ordinary phone jacks. One using standard dial-up, the other Net Zero High-Speed dial-up.
Net Zero High Speed is much better.
It's almost as fast as a DSL speed. You can surf the web up to 5 times.
Strike one of the outside corner to Marcus Giles, a fastball from Mark Pryor as we start the Atlanta 6th inning. Giles has had the only Atlanta hit of the game. Softly hit to short. Gonzalez throws him out. 1 away. Sheffield coming up. Let's go to our colleague, Gary Miller.
John, where would the Braves be without Marcus Giles? He's got the only home run in this series. He got a pinch hit RBI in Game 2. But what he means the most to this team is in the emotion. He and Mark DeRosa, who had the big hit in Game 2, have taken it upon themselves to fire up this squad. It's a veteran team that's won 12 straight divisions. They're a postseason perennial, but they're always a little too businesslike. So the 2 youngest guys on this team have decided to play with emotion and play with a football mentality. And DeRosa and Giles are those 2 guys. Watch them if they get a chance to against Pryor tonight. The way they react and try to charge up this team. When they got eliminated last year, they just sort of packed up their stuff and went home.
All right, and Giles certainly all season long helped ignite this Atlanta offense because he was just on base all the time. Gary Sheffield 0 for 1 with a walk. Chasing that curveball. 1 and 2.
So far in this game, Pryor has pitched him perfectly. Off the plate, inside with some fastballs, sliders away.
Fastball off the outside. 2 and 2. Chipper Jones on deck.
A lot of times you get hitters to chase that pitch.
And Sheffield got a hit, and he is hurt. Or at least it hurts very badly. So Sheffield hit somewhere in the hand or the wrist, and he is in all-encompassing pain right now.
Well, obviously hit him on his left hand. And there you see his spot. Well, he had pitched him inside. Here's a fastball. This one runs in. It misses the elbow pad and gets him on the hand. He's got the protective pad on his elbow, and watch, it just misses that and gets him on the hand. And when you pin the hand against the bat, I mean, there is a lot of pain there. It's also how you get your hand broken, by pinning it against the bat.
Sheffield could have gotten out of the way of that one. That was way inside.
There's Darren Bragg. He may go into the ball game, but I'm not sure Gary's going to come out. He's going to maybe test it and go ahead and run, and then see if he can bounce back. But obviously it hit him very squarely on the left hand. But he is gripping it.
That's a good sign, isn't it?
Yes.
Jeff Porter, the Braves head trainer, along with manager Bobby Cox alongside Sheffield.
We know how this is going to affect the Braves, you know, with just Sheffield getting hit, how it will affect his Nets at bat. But what you also have to wonder is how it's going to affect Mark Pryor and how he responds.
Well, Pryor, as you mentioned earlier, Joe, not afraid to throw inside, although he only hit 9 hitters all year. And his teammate Kerry Wood hit 21. But a lot of Cubs observers who saw the club every day said one of the defining moments for this ball club and for Mark Pryor was back on May the 1st in San Francisco when he hit Barry Bonds with a pitch on the thigh, which Bonds took personally.
You can see the ball is well off the plate inside. Gary stands pretty close anyway, but the ball is well off.
So Sheffield running the bases. Chipper Jones, the hitter. He got the call on that outside pitch. 0-1 the count.
That's more of a sliding glove there. Most of the guys wear them to keep from hurting your hand when you put it down on the slide. It's not for the fact that he just got hit there. He will put it on all the time when he gets on first base.
Randall Simon on the bag with Gary Sheffield. Chipper Jones has walked and grounded out. Strike 2 with the breaking ball.
Well, he's responded okay. Sometimes when the guy hits a pitcher hits a batter, it takes him a few pitches before he can regain his own composure. Because he definitely wasn't trying to hit Sheffield.
Chipper got that fastball and was actually out in front of it, yanking it way foul into the upper deck. Javy Lopez on deck. Andruw Jones behind him. Pryor is right in the middle of all of this Atlanta power. The Braves who hit 235 home runs during the season. Chipper Jones to second base. Backhanded for 1. Gonzalez not in time at first. Sheffield out at second.
Well, Chipper Jones runs well, and the ball wasn't hit that hard. It wasn't like a hard ground ball to second base. There's Grudzielanek, feeds it to second. And Gonzalez throw to first base, not nearly in time. But you want to get one anyway.
Seemed like a little risky throw there by Grudzielanek. I mean, Gonzalez came close to coming off the bag to get that throw.
Well, it wasn't quite as firm as you would like it, but one thing you do in that situation, you make sure one. Make sure you get one out.
Javy Lopez and the slider in there for a strike.
But it takes a lot longer to turn completely around and throw it. And actually, it's not a bad feed in that it led Gonzalez away from the runner. It allowed him to come get the ball.
Javy chasing one in the dirt that time. That hard breaking ball makes it 0-2. Lopez is struck out and grounded out to short. And as they happen all night long, when the count gets to 2 strikes, the crowd at Wrigley jumps to its feet. The Cubs are leading 2-0. The Atlanta Braves have had only 1 hit against Mark Pryor. 6 innings. He got a piece of it to stay alive. Still 0-2.
Well, Pryor thought he got him also. He was walking toward the dugout.
The fans here at Wrigley are again doing the derisive tomahawk chop. 0-2 to count. Fastball drilled to third, but Ramirez, I don't know if he caught it or it hit him, but he caught it with the body. Man, that ball was hit hard. Jones forced it second, still 2-0 Cubs.
Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Every day, all over the world, millions of people receive Adobe PDFs. But few realize just how simple they are to create. Which begs the question, is it better to give a PDF or to receive one? The PDF from Adobe Acrobat.
Yes, I have to go back to my convention. Yeah, I know, but I have a convention. Un auto allá. Bueno. Come on. I have to go to my convention. I know. I wish I could stay. We got married. I have to go. I love you. I'll call you. But you know, one more thing. Yeah. Oh, you smell so good.
Hello? Yes, we're looking to buy a home.
Who is it?
Wow, that sounds like a really good loan. What's the interest rate on that? And the origination fee? That's about 3 times what people are normally charged. Hello? Hello? Must have been something I said.
When you're knowledgeable, no one can take advantage of you. Get the facts before you borrow. Call the Fannie Mae Foundation for a free guide and a list of lenders and credit counselors.
I break for yard sales.
I break for animals.
I break for donuts.
Chocolate.
My grandkids.
Boys.
I break for little old ladies.
Bingo.
Leprechauns.
UFOs.
I break for free oil changes.
Visit your local Midas mechanic now and get a free oil change with any Midas brake job, including installation of our lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes. That's free oil and filter with any new brakes.
I break for no apparent reason.
ESPN's presentation of the 2003 MLB Division Series. Brought to you by Adobe Systems. Tools for the new work. And Las Vegas. The biggest, best resorts in the world all share the same address. Only in Vegas.
Now the Cubs into the last of the 6th inning. The Cubs lead 2-0. Greg Maddux on the hill. And Aramis Ramirez, who made that sensational play on the extraordinarily hard-hit ball by Javy Lopez, leads it off, fouling one into the upper deck. 0-1. Ramirez has bounced a single to right, flied out to left. Alex Gonzalez and Damian Miller will follow. And strike 2 on the outside. Sheffield back in the game, playing left field. The glove hand is the one that they got hit. Sheffield in right field. So hopefully he's okay.
I was watching him warm up between innings because, you know, obviously you're catching the ball with the hand that got hit. And they were throwing the ball pretty firmly to him, and he was catching it okay. And you would feel a lot of pain trying to catch it, you know, if it hadn't started to feel better.
1-2 the count. So it hurts when you get hit right on the top of the hand by a 95-mile-an-hour fastball?
Yeah, it does hurt.
Well, thankfully, he's still out there. And hopefully he's going to be able to play his normal game. 2-2. I mean, it looked bad when he first got hit. That shot by Ramirez right by third base coach Wendell Kim. I mean, when you play third base, as does Ramirez, as we just saw when Javy Lopez hit that ball at him, that ball gets there in a hurry. And when you're the third base coach, it gets there in a hurry. High hop to Furcal. And that is out number 1. With Chipper Jones at first, Lopez was at the plate in the first half of this inning. And this is life for a third baseman.
Well, if you're an Atlanta Braves, you say that's just an atom ball because that ball was hit right at him. And really, that's just self-protection there. He didn't have to go after it.
I mean, I'd be hitting the deck. I mean, that ball is coming there, what, 110 miles an hour? One down. Alex Gonzalez hit into a force play and was safe on the Vinny Castilla error. I mean, they're playing a hard ball out there.
Yeah, I've seen some guys playing third on AstroTurf, and balls just eat them up.
Ball on a strike to Gonzalez. A soft chop that time to Castilla. Number 2. Maddux gave up 2 in the first, none since.
Well, he's on his game now the last couple of innings. I mean, the last pitch is a perfect example of why Greg Maddux is such a great pitcher. It was a slider knee high and away, and the hitter tries to pull it. You have no chance of getting a base hit in that situation.
2 runs in the first, and even then, Maddux had some bad luck, especially that bunt that Fick could not handle. He slipped on the wet grass, and he ended up, instead of being a sacrifice, ended up being a hit. That really fueled the Cubs' first inning rally. But Maddux has been on top of his game ever since. Damian Miller, the hitter, and he's been shutting down the Cubs since that first inning, even though the Braves have committed 4 errors. That doesn't include the bunt that Fick couldn't handle in the first that was scored a hit. The Braves have tied an all-time division series record by committing 4 errors. Also ties their all-time postseason record for the team. Furcal gloves that one cleanly and fires the ball to first for the out. Cubs are going quickly. Now to the 7th inning. Andruw Jones coming up. 2-0 Chicago.
Home loans confused Julie. What are points and escrow, she'd wonder. Then she went to Washington Mutual. They explained the process step by step. Now Julie's never confused.
And the answer is...
basal ganglia.
Basal ganglia.
I'll take it. And I don't need the extended warranty. So when you say it's not you, it's me, you're really saying it's me.
Exactly.
Do you want that snow pea?
Nice work, Julie. Nice work.
I got business all over the country.
All over the world.
Week to week, I know I'm going somewhere.
And there's nothing worse than flying a different airline.
Every time I'm in a different city.
I'm looking for one airline.
One airline, same airport.
Same check-in.
One frequent flyer program.
Same website for everything.
One airline.
Tons of cities.
Problem solved.
Next time you fly, get a lot more airline on American Airlines.
My name is Tommy,
and I fly American Airlines.
American.
My name is David Salazar. I fly American Airlines.
Buy 4 advanced technology Bridgestone Dueler tires and get a free Casio color TV.
Kawasaki's Prairie 700 4x4 ATV. A V-twin engine that neutralizes inclines. A suspension that ignores rocks. And a sealed rear braking system that helps those way behind catch up.
Let's go.
Because having the right car or truck makes all the difference. Sweetheart, your honey-do list just got a little bit longer. Sorry.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Cubs 2, Braves nothing. We start the 7th inning from Wrigley Field. Game 3 of the National League Division Series between these two clubs, the champions of the Central and Eastern divisions, respectively. And this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Major League Baseball is giving away World Series tickets for life and other great prizes in the Ultimate World Series Pass promotion presented by Radio Shack. Winning hologram numbers will be announced throughout games 1 through 4 of the series, with the grand prize of World Series tickets for life to be announced in Game 4.
Well, Greg Maddux is due up fourth here, and we are in the 7th inning. So you're kind of in a funny situation if you're Dusty Baker. You do not mind in your, if they get a hitter on with 2 outs, and that will force them to pinch hit for Maddux. Because the way Maddux is settled in, you say, well, maybe we can score a run or 2 against the bullpen.
Let's get him out of here.
Yeah, get him out of here. But the game is going so well for you. You say, well, just go 1, 2, 3.
In other words, don't get anybody on and let Cox send up somebody up there who might do some damage. Pryor. facing Andruw Jones. 1 ball, 1 strike to Andruw, who has walked twice in this game. By the way, we wanted to send along belated happy birthday wishes to former President Jimmy Carter, the winner of the 2002 Nobel Peace Prize and also a great fan of the Atlanta Braves. He's a native Georgian, and he and his wife Rosalind, not only big Braves fans, Joe, but apparently regular viewers whenever they have a chance of Sunday night baseball. So Mrs. Carter called Atlanta the other night, wondering if maybe we could wish him a happy birthday. So happy birthday to former President Jimmy Carter as Andruw Jones strikes out. Braves won that night on his actual birthday, but now they are trailing 2-0 here in the 7th inning in this one.
Well, I want Rosalind to know that I kept reminding you to do it, but you just never got around to it, so it's not my fault.
Yeah. It was 9 innings Wednesday, now we're in the 7th. Yeah. 16 times he said you're going to wish them.
I said, what about former President Jimmy Carter? And you're just now getting around to it.
Yeah.
So
I always had important stuff to say, like Robert Fick at the plate now, and he takes a ball. Robert Fick has grounded into a double play, flied out to right center, and is 0 for 8 in this series. Going back in left is Alou, plenty of room on the warning track. That ball seemed to carry pretty well, although there's a little soft breeze blowing in now from left.
Well, the ball wasn't high, so the wind did not affect it as much. Up there on the flagpole, Ron Santo's number has joined Ernie Banks's number. Santo had his number retired in ceremonies before the final game of the regular season last Sunday. There's Ron Santo. Great to see him. So a lot of people think that Ron Santo should be in the Hall of Fame. A mighty swing and a miss by Vinny Castilla on that first pitch fastball. Pryor has just reached right around 100 pitches for the game. In fact, right at 100 pitches for the game. Working in the 7th. Just off the outside. But that's not really a high pitch count for him. He often, as we mentioned earlier, in his 6 September starts, he averaged 130 pitches per start. Alex Gonzalez. The side retired in order. 7th inning stretch time at Wrigley Field. We're going to stay put. The Wrigley tradition of everybody singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" continues on even after Harry Carey, the great former voice of the Chicago Cubs, and Ryne Sandberg, the great former Cub, here to lead the crowd. Cubs 2, Braves nothing. And although they did not pinch hit for Greg Maddux, Maddux is no longer in the game. Jaret Wright, acquired in late August after being, in effect, let go by the San Diego Padres. Pryor first ball swinging, and Vinny Castilla all the way in near home plate to make the catch. And Pryor is very quickly out number 1 here in the 7th. So Jaret Wright, who was a World Series hero in 1997 when he was a rookie with the Cleveland Indians. He got the Game 7 start against the Florida Marlins. Actually, I guess you can't say he's a hero. He looked like he was going to be, but Cleveland was unable to hold the lead that he had helped fashion, and then they lost that one in extra innings, and Florida became the World Series champion. But things have really gone progressively downhill for Jaret Wright ever since. He's had lots of arm trouble. But they love the way he's throwing it. Actually,
He pitched well for them in September, the final month of the year, after they acquired him. Kenny Lofton, the hitter, slaps a foul off the left field side into the second deck. Wright won a couple of games in the division series that year for Cleveland against the Yankees. Remember, they beat the Yankees in that division series. And that one misses. And then he pitched 2 games in that World Series. Won the first one, ended up with no decision in Game 7. And it's been like a fight ever since for him to try to get back after all the arm problems. But he's throwing hard. 94-mile-an-hour fastball there. 2-1 to Lofton. Wright still only 27 years old. It's interesting that Maddux is gone, Joe. I mean, threw 90 pitches, and he just had retired the side in order in the 6th inning. They did not pinch hit for him.
Well, I thought the 6th inning was maybe his best inning because he really placed the ball exactly where he wanted.
Wright throws out Lofton. That's out number 2. Now an update on Gary Sheffield's condition from Gary Miller.
John, I talked to Jeff Porter, the Braves trainer, and it is not broken, just a bad bruise, but he didn't hurt the hamate bone. They worked it out. They didn't feel the need to take x-rays, and he was gripping the bat between innings, and he's ready to go, but it was scary.
Yeah, it was a horrible sight, and obviously still looks pretty tender, Joe.
Well, that was before he went out to play right field the last inning, because again, I watched him play catch, and he seemed to be able to handle the hard throws that were being tossed at him.
This is Grudzielanek. He's 1 for 3. Had that bunt hit in the 1st inning. Andruw Jones circling under, coming in now. The wind knocks it down, and that is the inning. So Jaret Wright retires the side in order. Now to the 8th inning, the pitcher's spot, then the top of the order. The Braves are down by 2.
I am very proud of my lawn.
We enjoy it as much as he does.
Our neighbors usually ask me what I use, and I tell them. I use Scott's Winterizer.
He really cares.
When you apply it in the fall, the food actually enters the root system. It stores it over the winter, and then in the spring, it perks that grass right up. It explodes, basically. Obviously, it's a critical step.
He's tried other products, too.
They just didn't work out. Scott's Winterizer gives me the last green lawn in the fall and the first green lawn in the spring.
Go to the movies for dinner with my baby with the chick. Hey, gonna have some.
The Nintendo GameCube is now $99.99. It just keeps getting better, doesn't it?
One thing that can break up any party? A broken chip. Get Tostitos Gold. The Tostitos that are made extra thick. Perfect for hearty dips. Tastes so good, you never know who'll show up.
So, Gagas and Ovar.
Tostitos Gold. The perfect chip for hearty dips.
MGM Pictures presents Academy Award winner Denzel Washington in Out of Time.
I need Prince ASAP.
Chief, you okay? Just do it! Critics are saying he delivers a knockout performance. Out of Time, rated PG-13, now play everywhere.
Hey, it's your ride. And the pros at AutoZone have the performance products and accessories you need to make it exactly what you want it to be. Your ride.
Get it? Get in the zone.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hey, which never-ending pasta you guys getting?
Penne with Alfredo sauce.
Spaghetti.
With the meat sauce.
Fettuccine.
With pesto.
You guys play tennis today?
Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl, just $7.95. Pick one combination of sauce and pasta, then another. Have all you want. Wonderful.
Sorry, I was driving too fast.
No, my fault. You must be gelling, like Magellan.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are so soft, they make any shoe feel outrageously comfortable. Are you gelling? Dr. Scholl's.
Carl Ravitch at our Division Series studios. We may see series end tomorrow. Giants, they can be eliminated. The A's could eliminate the Red Sox. The Yankees and Twins start things off at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Baseball tonight comes up just before that for a full hour at noon Eastern time to set the table. Inside this series, they're going to go with Roger Clemens, 11-5, great ERA in the Metrodome. Be careful of the balls that get lost up on the roof, and Minnesota believes they're as good as home at anybody in the postseason right now. Clemens and Kyle Oates, we'll see you at noon on ESPN, John.
All right, thanks, Carl. Big day tomorrow. Now for Atlanta, Mark DeRosa, who drove in the winning runs filling in for Marcus Giles in Wednesday's ball game. A 2-run 8th-inning double against Dave Veers. And as you pointed out, Joe, it looked like it wasn't really a bad pitch by Veers
either.
No,
it was not. He hit a good pitch. I think if you're the Braves now, you have to make sure you don't start swinging for the fences. You still have some outs, and that looks like it might be a good start.
Lofton cannot get to it. Backing up is Sosa. DeRosa's trying for 2, and he's going to make it. So great base running by DeRosa, turning that into a double.
And that's what you have to do. If you're the Braves, you say, look, we just have to try to get the tying run to the plate and move some guys around. I mean, they have been shut down by Pryor, but you get 27 outs. There's a little slide piece that just stayed inside there and didn't do a lot. And he inside outed it to right field. And a nice try there by Lofton, but really no chance to make that play. And as Bobby Cox says, DeRosa can hit.
DeRosa easily beat the wide throw to second. And here is Furcal. Bunting, but popping it foul and out of play. Bunting for a hit.
A smart play, but it's very difficult to bunt a guy that throws as hard as Pryor.
DeRosa with that double, by the way, is the first Brave to get past first base since the first inning, when Pryor walked 2 straight hitters with 2 down. We'll see how they're playing it defensively. The third baseman, Ramirez, into the grass. The first baseman, Simon, is even with the bag, shortened up. Cubs are going to get something going in their bullpen now. Strike, and it's 0-2. Furcal has been kept off the bases tonight, which is always important to derail that Atlanta offense if you keep him from getting on. Crowd rises to its feet. Tries to put him away with the hard breaking ball in the dirt. Knocked down by Miller. Still DeRosa holding it second. In the Cubs bullpen, a right-hander and a left-hander have started to warm up. The right-hander, Kyle Farnsworth. The left-hander, Mike Remlinger. Rays also have activity going as DeRosa just pinch hit for the pitcher, Jaret Wright. Furcal has grounded to second, popped to second, and struck out. Now, Pryor came into this inning having thrown 102 pitches in the game. He had a 9-pitch, 7th inning. That will move DeRosa to third as Grudzielanek throws out Furcal. 1 away. Marcus Giles coming up next.
Well, he went away with a fastball, then he came back in with this fastball, and he just jams him. See the target's inside. Hits the inside corner, and he gets the out. But you have to give Furcal it's happened to have because he got the runner over to third base. So a productive out there. And remember, if you can get 1 runner in here, get the run in, you know, going to the 9th, only 1 run down is a big difference from going there with 2 runs down.
So even this late again, they don't have to get both of them right now.
No. You still will keep the pressure on the Cubs to get you out.
The middle infield staying back, normal depth. The ground ball could get a run home here. Marcus Giles, and blocked. Like a hockey goaltender there. Damian Miller keeping that ball in front of him, keeping the runner from scoring.
Well, Giles hit a home run off of Kerry Wood in Atlanta. It was a fastball in. The base hit he got the other day to tie the score was a fastball in. They've been trying to stay away from him most of the evening.
1 ball, no strikes. 1 out, runner at third. Ooh, man. The gas. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Giles is a good fastball hitter. Good middle end fastball hitter.
That's DeRosa. Over at third. DeRosa and Giles have been knocking in the Braves' runs in this series. Strike 2 on the outside.
And that's exactly the way they pitched him in the ballgame tonight. Just stay away from him.
The Braves have scored 7 in the series so far. DeRosa and Giles have knocked in 4 of those 7. Giles trying to knock in DeRosa right here. Crowd on its feet. Too high on that one. The Atlanta bullpen bullpen, Kevin Gryboski, the right-hander, warming up. He'll come on in the last of the 8th for Atlanta. In the air to center field, plenty deep enough to get DeRosa home. Lofton takes it, and DeRosa comes in to score the first run for Atlanta. So it is 2-1 now.
Well, it was a breaking ball, and Giles stayed on it and hit it deep enough to get the run home.
Furcal got him to third with a ground out, and Giles has indeed gotten him home.
It was a breaking ball that kind of stayed in the middle of the plate. But Giles did the job. He got him home. And again, I mean, a 2-1 lead going to the bottom of the ninth, to the 9th inning, if that's all you get here, is a lot better than going there 2 runs down, because you have to get someone on base. Now every hitter that walks to the plate is a potential tying run.
So now Sheffield, who is the possible tying run, and I mean, and in every respect. But he was hit on the left hand by that pitch in his previous at bat in the 6th inning. Staying in the game. Popped up. Ramirez has room. And Sheffield is gone on 1 pitch. The Braves are retired. Now just a run down. The big hit is coming up for the Cubs, starting with Sammy Sosa. 2-1 Chicago.
Come on in, Derek. Derek, I thought we had this thing worked out. I hear you're out dancing, eating, and just carousing with your friends. Is it true you're going out every night?
Absolutely not.
Good.
If you want to enjoy the New York nightlife, bring your Visa card, because Orso, Cheetah, and the Broom Street Bar don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Hey, Derek, we are running late. Sorry.
Today's word is obvious.
Obvious?
Yes, obvious. Like dialing 1-800-COLLECT to make a collect call.
Collect calls? 1-800-COLLECT. That is obvious.
So is that fake laugh. 1-800-COLLECT. Duh.
On debt obligations for the purposes of raising funds for our schools and...
Saturday on ABC, Michigan battles Iowa in the BCS Spotlight Game of the Week, presented by ADT.
I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, La Paloma, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Tocopilla, Barranquilla, and Padilla. I'm a killer. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.
The road is full of choices. Stay twice at these Choice hotels this fall and earn a free night with Choice privileges. The more you stay, the more you earn. For reservations or more details, visit choicehotels.com. Choice Hotels. We'll see you there.
There's nothing worse than sitting at your computer and you're waiting and you're waiting.
In Los Angeles, internet users are taking the Net Zero High-Speed Challenge. 2 computers connected to the internet through ordinary phone jacks. One using standard dial-up, the other Net Zero High-Speed dial-up.
Net Zero High-Speed is much better.
It's almost as fast as a DSL speed.
You can surf the web up to 5 times faster for only $14.95 a month.
Well, I think it's cool that it's cheaper and faster. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Net Zero High-Speed. Get it at netzero.com.
Here come the Cubs now. Mark Pryor has pitched 8 innings brilliantly in his first postseason game. Really still in his first full Major League season. He's limited the best hitting team in the National League, one of the best hitting teams anywhere, to only 2 hits. But his lead is only 1 run. Here's Sammy Sosa against Kevin Gryboski, and Sammy tried to add a run with 1 swing of his bat, but he didn't get it.
Well, John, there's the old adage that good pitching stops good hitting, and I've never really believed in it that way, but I think great pitching can stop good hitting. And we've seen some great pitching from Kerry Wood and so far tonight from Mark Pryor. So there's a little different than just good pitching. It's great pitching that we've seen.
Well, he's gotten 2 right by Sammy Sosa, and he's going after him.
But we saw some great pitching from Greg Maddux. I mean, the first inning was tough, but after that, he did his job.
The Cubs got 2 against Maddux in the first inning. No swing there. 1-2 to Sosa. And really shouldn't have gotten any.
Right.
There was a bunt. But also, as we take another look at that check swing by Sammy.
No, he controlled it. Strong hands to be able to do that, though.
1-2. Ooh. He's going right after him here.
Well, Gryboski has a good fastball. When he gets it down, it sinks. When he gets it up, he can throw it by you. But you're right. I mean, if Fick would have been able to handle the bunt in the first inning, they probably wouldn't have scored. There's the high fastball coming straight back at us.
Another big play in that first inning. There was the wild pitch by Maddux. Lofton was stealing third in the play, but it allowed Grudzielanek to go to second. And that's why the single by Simon was a 2-run single rather than a 1-run single. And that wild pitch, that second run that scored in that play, is the run by which the Cubs lead right now.
Well, this is what postseason baseball is all about. I mean, you're usually going to get well-pitched ball games because especially the first couple of 2 or 3 games of the series.
Sammy and Fick gets that one. And Gryboski stumbles but got the put out. He holds the ball.
The first 2 or 3 games of all the series, you're going to have, you know, the front line pitchers pitching. You're 1, 2, or 3 pitching, and you're always going to, you know, get pretty well pitched ball games during that time. Nice play by Fick. He was really trying to smother it just to make sure he got it. And Gryboski way ahead, but hits the side of the bag and slips. Lucky that Sosa was able to avoid him.
So Robert Fick with a nice pickup. They get the put out. Here's Moises Alou. And high and tight to Alou, who's 1 for 3. Moises' dad, Felipe Alou, the manager of the Giants. And of course, one possibility is that the Giants would play the Cubs in the next round, the league championship series. But the Giants dealt a severe blow today when they just blew a game against the Marlins. And that's going to be an infield hit where Kyle got to it, but Alou gets the infield hit. Back in the first inning. Things conspiring against the Braves. Lofton led off the inning with a base hit. And then the bunt on the wet field. Fick slipped and fell. Then a wild pitch that moved Grudzielanek to second as Lofton was stealing third, and then Simon got that bloop single, and it turned into a 2-run single rather than 1 run because of that wild pitch. And here is Simon. He has driven in the Cubs' only runs. He is the former Pirate, as are Lofton and Ramirez. And they've had 9 hits in 26 at-bats in this series, the 3 former Pirates. And that's a foul. And here in Chicago, although they've adopted all 3 of them as Cubs, they still want to thank the Pirates. Isn't that the building on Wayland Avenue right behind the left field foul pole? It's always nice to send a thank you note. Sports Center right after the ball game. Gryboski missing, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alou at first. Simon the hitter. The Cubs have 7 hits in the game. Dusty Baker. I mean, all 3 of these games have been real tight and tense. 2-1 the score tonight. There goes Alou.
Great jump.
And that was plenty good enough to steal it. It wouldn't have mattered if Furcal had caught the ball.
Well, he had a great jump at first base.
Simon strikes out, but Alou gets another steal for the Cubs.
So you see, he got a great jump on Gryboski. The pitch was down. Javy's throw was there, but it wasn't in time.
Lofton's had 2 steals. And now Alou gets one. So here is Aramis Ramirez, another former Pirate. He drove in 106 runs during the season. Got a chance to drive in 1 here, which would be big if he can do it. Gryboski trying to prevent that from happening. He was late in that fastball. A foul into the upper deck. Off to the right. He's had 3 hits in the series. Cubs have not hit any home runs in this series. The Braves have only hit 1. Pitching has been the theme of this series.
And a lot of people thought the Braves pitching staff wasn't as good as it was before, but they have been able to contain the Cubs.
Alou at second. just missing in the outside. Pryor, through 8 innings, has given up 1 run and 2 hits. But he'll be tested. He'll have to run the gauntlet. 3 powerful hitters, Chipper Jones, Javy Lopez, and then Andruw Jones.
That's why this run at second base is so important.
Pryor, by the way, has thrown 114 pitches in the game. And the Cubs bullpen is quiet. There's no question that Pryor is going to head out there for the 9th inning.
Well, you wondered at the beginning whether, this big stage would overpower him. And I guess what? He has proven that he belongs on the big stage, meaning Mark Pryor. We knew Greg Maddux belonged here.
1-2. Off the outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pryor has only given up 2 hits. A single by Marcus Giles in the 3rd. And then Mark DeRosa's pinch hit hustle double. And then the Braves manufactured a run out of that. Ground ball to second and then a fly ball. And DeRosa got home. Otherwise, they wouldn't have any runs at all. Right center field. Andruw Jones racing back, and that ball is off the ivy. Alou has scored, and the ball is stuck in the ivy. The ball disappeared in the ivy. And the Cubs get that big run. The Pirates are beaten up on the Braves in October in Cubs uniforms.
Well, this is just real good hitting here by Ramirez. He never tried to pull the ball on any of the pitches. And this pitch is away, and he hits it in the right center field gap. And it's cold out here, and the ball is not traveling well, but he hit it well.
And again, the mock tomahawk chop at Wrigley Field.
And you see they set up away. The ball is away, gets some of the plate, but he goes the other way, and it flies into the ivy. And once it stays in there, and again, that was a big, big run.
So the run that the Braves had to scratch and claw their way to get, the Cubs have gotten right back.
Well, that allows Mark Pryor to make a mistake even if they do not pick Ramirez up from second base. But allows him some margin for error that he would not have had going into the 9th inning with a one-run lead. It helps Dusty Baker out tremendously.
And Gryboski allowing Moises Alou to get that big jump. I mean, Moises, he runs well, but he's not a
but he had a great
prototype
jump,
base stealer. But the fact that he stole that back, that's why he scored on that play.
Because it would have been a ground rule double, and he would have been at second and third if he would have still been at first base.
The Pirates, the former Pirates, have knocked in 3 runs, and the Cubs lead 3-1. Ramirez, who drove in 106 in the regular season, and now he gets his first postseason RBI. And Alex Gonzalez has a count of 3-0. Cubs do not have a position player on their current roster who has played his entire career for the Cubs. They have 5 pitchers who have done so, but no homegrown position players on the roster. Now they're going to walk Gonzalez intentionally and start over again with Damian Miller with a fresh counter. First and second, 2 down, a run in for the Cubs. Here's Miller, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. The Braves have 3 players who played only for Atlanta in their career: Javy Lopez, Chipper, and Andruw Jones. All 3 of them have actually played at least 1,000 games in the big leagues for Atlanta. Here's Damian Miller. 2 on, 2 out. Gryboski throws him a strike.
And John, what I meant by giving Dusty Baker some leeway, what he's done now, he started Borowski to warm up. What that means is if Pryor gets in any trouble, he can go to the bullpen and bring him in. But he was going to stick with him with a 1-run lead. He was going to let him try to wade through.
And a group foul off to the right. in the Atlanta bullpen. Will Canane is the right-hander, and Ray King is the left-hander. Troy O'Leary actually has come out on deck now with Pryor due up next.
See, I think that gave Dusty some leeway to make this decision. You know, he feels comfortable with Borowski with a 2-run lead. I think he felt more comfortable with Pryor with a 1-run lead.
So Ramirez, RBI here, has had
a lot of
other effects.
Right. I really think it lifted a lot of the weight off of Dusty Baker. Having to make the decision, do I send Pryor back out there with as many pitches as he has thrown? You know, or do I get someone ready in case he goes back out there and gets in trouble?
And I think at this stage, you'd really prefer Pryor not to have to throw that many more pitches.
Right.
He's thrown 114 already tonight. Now it is 2-2 to Miller. O'Leary is out on deck. By the way, those 3 former Pirates tonight, just in this game, they've had 5 hits and 12 at-bats with the 3 RBIs and a run scored. 2 RBIs from Randall Simon in the first. Kenny Lofton has scored one of those runs, had 2 steals. And of course, Aramis Ramirez, who just knocked in run number 3. And he'll be off and running with the crack of the bat, trying to score another one here with 2 down. But Damian Miller is down on strikes. Last chance for the Braves. Here in game 3, Chipper Jones, Javy Lopez, Andruw Jones, 3 sluggers coming up, but it is now 3-1 Chicago.
Kawasaki's Prairie 700 4x4 ATV. A V-twin engine that neutralizes inclines. A suspension that ignores rocks. And a sealed rear braking system that helps those way behind catch up.
Let's go.
Boshier Sport in Marshall aims to introduce local buyers to a new, more enjoyable shopping experience. With all of the newest models of Ford vehicles, Boshier Sport is your one-stop shop for all of your automotive needs. The 2004 F-150 is here with the new 5.4-liter 3-valve Triton V8 engine. The new 2004 is the safest F-150 ever. It's something you've never seen before. Whether you choose the regular cab, super cab, or super crew cab with rear doors, there's room for the entire family. Only one truck earned the right to be the next F-150, and you can find it at Boshier Sport, where they treat their customers like family.
Inning, and the fans rose to their feet with an ovation when they saw Mark Pryor emerge from the dugout and head back to the mound for the 9th inning. 3-1, the Cubs are leading. Pryor with a 2-hitter going on into the 9th here.
And Dusty Baker, like I said, he was debating on how he was going to do this. There's the games we're going to have on tomorrow, John.
Yankees Twins game 3 at the Metrodome at 1 Eastern. Giants Marlins at the same time, game 4, elimination game for the Giants if they can't win. And the Giants on ESPN2. Braves Cubs game 4, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central. And then tomorrow night, Joe and I will be at Fenway Park for the Athletics and the Red Sox. Boston must win to stay alive. That will be on ESPN2 tomorrow night. Derek Lowe and Ted Lilly from Fenway Park. Everybody's still on their feet here at Wrigley Field as Chipper Jones shows bunt and takes ball 1.
Smart play there. I mean, Ramirez was so far back at third base. He was deep as the shortstop was. I mean, he was way back here. Now that brings him in a little bit.
That's a strike. After Pryor took the mound, the fans, having initially given him an ovation, started chanting his name, Pryor, Pryor, and just a moment ago, another Pryor cheer was going on. 1-2. Chipper Jones, 1 hit in 10 at-bats in this series. 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. And that breaking ball down and in. 2-2. The last time a Chicago Cub pitcher pitched a complete game in the postseason, it was the 1945 World Series. Claude Passau in Game 3 against the Tigers. And I don't know, Joe. He's probably showing signs of fatigue here. 3-2.
Well, I think he came with the right pitch there. He was trying to throw a fastball just to keep from going to 3-2. Big pitch here because I'm not sure what Dusty will do if he doesn't get Chipper Jones out.
Popped up foul, and that's going to go back out of play. Now, if Chipper reaches, Javy Lopez, who hit 43 home runs this year, would be the possible tying run. He's on deck.
And Javy has actually swung the bat pretty well against him. He doesn't have a lot to show for it. After the first time up, he struck out, but he hit a hard ground ball to shortstop, and then he hit a real hard ground ball at third base his last time up.
Andruw Jones due up third in the inning. 3-2. But right there, Gonzalez, after juggling it, he throws it out. He was well over toward the middle to begin with, and that's why he was able to get to that one.
They've had some tough hops on this infield tonight. Look at this, right in between hop. I mean, catches it with his stomach, stays with it, and fires a strike to first base. And Dusty makes the play with him. Remember, Chipper Jones runs well.
Now Javy Lopez. Oh, man. A knee-buckling breaking ball. Strike one. That ground ball started playing pinball with Alex Gonzalez's body.
Well, they've had some tough hops out there on this infield tonight.
And this has never been one of the favorite infielder, one of the favorite infields for an infielder. Sports Center right after the game, including more coverage from Wrigley Field, so stay tuned as that breaking ball is strike 2.
John, when you look at these two pitchers for the Cubs, Pryor and Curry Wood, I mean, these are two thoroughbreds. That's what you want. These are the guys that you can build everything around.
Struck him out, but Miller does not know where the ball is, and Lopez reaches base. Lopez chased a curveball. It must have been a foot outside and in the dirt, and then it got away from Miller, and he didn't know where it was.
Well, if you're the Braves, you say, well, this is what we hoped for. We wanted to have the tying run come to the plate, and they do have the tying run in Andruw Jones.
Borowski up in the bullpen, ready if needed. Larry Rothschild is going to go to the mound to talk to Pryor.
Well, this is about a 60-foot slider, and you're surprised that Javy swung at it because it never starts even in the batter's box almost. It's in the left-handed batter's box, and Javy swung at it, and you see the ball bounce away, and Miller does not know where it is. And that's one of those pitches where you'd been better off if he didn't swing at it, but the Braves got a break there by having him swing at it.
So, instead of 2 down and nobody on, the Braves had the possible tying run at the plate with 1 out. Andruw Jones. And that's a foul. Off the third base side by Andrews. Walked twice and struck out once. We saw Will Canane get up in the Atlanta bullpen just in case. 3-1, the Cubs lead. Cubs, Mark Pryor has allowed only 2 hits in this game. But he's walked 4, hit a batter, and now a batter has reached, even though he struck out, reaching on the wild pitch. The 127th pitch for Pryor. A high fastball that Andruw Jones chased.
Well, he still has some giddy up on the fastball, and especially if he gets it up there.
You may have heard earlier in the dugout, Mark DeRosa wearing a microphone talking about how that fastball had a second stage. Came back with it again. This time Andruw got a piece of it, fouling it back into the upper deck. Still 0-2. There's DeRosa. He hit a pinch hit double in the 8th inning and eventually scored Atlanta's run. They are trailing 3-1 here. Andruw Jones, who had 36 home runs during the season. Javy Lopez, the runner at first. Pryor went back onto the grass as if to collect his thoughts for a moment. Strike 3. Again, the breaking ball.
So far in this ball game, he's basically only used 2 pitches, the fastball and the breaking ball. He hasn't used the changeup very often. But when you have 2 dominant pitches like that, you do not need a 3rd pitch. And right-handers are just at his mercy sometimes.
2 down. And the Braves' last hope now is Robert Fick. He is grounded into a double play, flied to right center, and flied out to deep left. Pryor has thrown 129 pitches. Fick 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for 9 in the series. 1 ball, no strikes. The last time the Cubs won a postseason game here at Wrigley was 1989, Game 2 against the Giants that year. Two-0. Staying away from Fick. Fick did not hit a lot of home runs, but he has power.
Well, if you're the Braves, you say not so fast. This is not over yet.
Well, he needs to come in now. 2-0 the count. There's Vinny Castilla on deck. He would be next. Fans chanting, "Let's go Pryor." That foul will go back out of play into the upper deck. The 132nd pitch for the 23-year-old Mark Pryor. Got a 2-hitter going against the best hitting team in the National League. Randall Simon plays behind the runner at first, Lopez. And that is a pop-up. Grudzielanek. And they are rocking Wrigley Field. The Cubs have gone ahead in this series, 2 games to 1, on a masterpiece from the young Mark Pryor, a 2-hitter against the Braves.
And John, we said coming into this series, they were going to have to beat Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood at least once in order to win this series. And that's not a good proposition right now. I mean, Kerry Wood pitched a fantastic game in Game 1. Now here in Game 3, Mark Pryor pitches a great game.
Pryor on his 133rd pitch of the night gets the pop-up from Fick. And the only run he allowed was a manufactured run. 3-1, the Cubs win. They really didn't score enough runs to ordinarily beat the Atlanta Braves. And Mark Pryor was clearly the difference, just as was Kerry Wood in Tuesday's Game 1.
Well, the Cubs have won 2 games. Their 2 thoroughbreds have been the reason. There's a fastball pretty much in the middle of the plate. But when you have a good fastball like he has, you can make mistakes in the middle of the plate and get away with it. There's Dusty Baker. He says, I've been here before.
Just as did the young Jim Palmer in the '66 World Series when he beat the veteran Koufax. We have seen one of the great young pitchers in the game beat the great veteran tonight. Pryor over Maddux. Now stay tuned. We're going to have more from Wrigley Field. 3-1 the final.
This is SportsCenter. In another classic October matchup, Atlanta's all-time ace faces Chicago's fastball phenom. The Marlins get their big bat back, but would Barry put a fright in the fish?
It's just another guy up there with a bat.
Homecoming week in the NFL. Who has the best chance to be crowned king? My. Tiger more than in the hunt, and Kobe still not in camp. While the Canes title hopes experience a tropical depression. Getting our postseason game face on SportsCenter now.
Welcome to the party known as SportsCenter. Alongside John Anderson, I'm Kevin Frazier.
Really enough about us. The Cubs have just taken a 2-1 lead in their series with the Braves. Now we take you right back to Wrigley Field. Gary Miller with the man, Mark Pryor.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Brian. And Mark, I mean, they're still here. They're going, let's go Pryor all through the ninth. Take me through that ninth inning and that extra run you got to work with.
Well, that run was huge, and Ramirez hitting that ball, and, very thick air that's been here. I mean, there's some hard hit balls all night, and they didn't carry, but that extra run, the insurance run, helped me out big time, and I was just going out there and try to stay calm, stay focused, and just make pitches, and this crowd's been awesome all year for me, and they just helped me bring home another one.
You talk about Aramis Ramirez and Lofton, and those guys have done so much for you, the guys that have come over from Pittsburgh, Randall Simon, all playing tonight and contributing. How much have they meant to this team?
They've been huge. I mean, Kenny just being in the front lineup, losing Corey was, very, we thought for a while that was going to be a tough injury, and then all of a sudden Kenny came over, and he was just kind of, that catalyst that we needed to pull everything together, and obviously, Ramirez has come up huge. Obviously, he made a huge play today on that ball that Javy hit. And then Randall Simon has filled in great. Him and Karros have been doing a great job over there. So I thank Pittsburgh for letting us have them, and they've been absolutely fantastic for us.
Mark, in the opening game, Kerry took the middle of their lineup 3 through 6, 1 for 14. Tonight, you kept him hitless. What has been the secret to you guys keeping, a record-setting offense in check?
Honestly, I don't know. Just executing pitches, really. And, I didn't feel like I had great stuff tonight. But after about the third or fourth inning, I just try to take a little bit off and just make pitches and make them go out of their strike zone. And fortunately, we were able to do that very well with Damian. And I knew what the conditions were. It was a thick air. The wind was blowing, maybe a little bit out to right, and it's damp and it's cold. So I knew the conditions were favorable, for the pitching. So I tried to take advantage of that, and I think fortunately I was able to do that.
4 walks is as many as you'd had in a game all season. Going up against Maddux, who won his first Cy Young when you were 12. Were you nervous going into this game?
Well, I think so. I think the first 2 walks, where I was letting the crowd and kind of the whole surrounding environment kind of control what I was wanting to do. And then I saw what actually Greg did in the bottom of the first, kind of, take some time, do some pickoff moves, so he felt like he was in control. And so I kind of did that, I think, the third or fourth inning and slowed everything down for myself. And then the next 2 walks, I felt, they're a good team, and they're going to battle, and you can't just, throw it in there and hope that they get out. And, I'm trying to do some things that I maybe normally do, but, this offense is very good, and you got to respect what they can do, whoever's, standing at the plate. And obviously, I don't care what the conditions are, they can hit it out. So I wasn't going to let that happen.
That's what made you all the more impressive tonight. Mark Pryor, who just a year ago was at USC and West Tennessee in the minors, just came up last year. Now he's won a postseason game, put him within a win of making the LCS. Back to you.